go. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back here to the Westgate Resort and Casino in Las Vegas with final round coverage of the 2017 APA Masters Championship, all part of the APA World Pool Championships, which have been going on throughout the week here in Las Vegas. I'm your host, Jason Bowman. I'm joined by the very lovely Striking Viking Course Billiard Hall of Famer, Ava Mattia Lawrence. Ava, how are you?
I'm good, Jason. I'm excited.
I know. So we are now, folks, we are now on the 4th of 5 championships to be decided here in Las Vegas. Of course, as we mentioned, we will have Masters coverage this afternoon before we get down to the tables and meet the teams and players. Let's take a look at some of the ground rules real quickly. Masters Championship rules. Masters has any combination of men and women with a maximum of 4 players allowed on the roster. You will see up to 3 players in this match today. There is no skill level limit in the Masters event, and there's also no handicapping used. These players are all very highly skilled players playing without skill levels in this particular match. We do utilize the U.S. Amateur Championship rules, which means a combination, Ava, of 8-ball and 9-ball. Some different variations from normal league play. We have jump cues, which are allowed here. There is, however, no coaching allowed. Again, we mentioned these are very highly skilled players, and therefore we do not allow coaching in this match. And you'll see a race to 7, 8 games of 9-ball and 5 games of 8-ball. So again, you're going to see that 8-ball, 9-ball combination and how that plays in. Getting a look here at some of the prize money. These players are playing for $10,000 first place prize money. The runner-up will take home $5,000. Of course, as part of the Showdown Series, the Masters Championship is 100% payback of all the entry fees going to the top 25% of the field. And this afternoon we have from Richmond, Virginia, the team of Now We Know. They are opposed by the original Three Amigos from San Bernardino, California. I believe the players are just about ready to go here at the table. We will meet them here momentarily. Looks like preparing to break here is from the team of Now We Know. I believe this is David Hunt. Yes, David Hunt with the break for the team Now You Know of Richmond, Virginia. And our Masters final is underway.
Good, strong break, and we're obviously starting with 8-ball. And that table opened wide open there. I don't see anything major. This is all cue ball control here. And for players of this caliber, this is a very makeable rack.
Not uncommon in Masters competition to see a player run a table. So if you are into very good, highly skilled pool, you can anticipate seeing that here today.
All right, now finding the path down to that 2 and 7 is obviously the key. The 3-ball lane by the side pocket could help as far as getting down and getting position for those balls if he doesn't want to try to get there right away.
These players, of course, starting in the 8-ball rack.
We'll see if that cue ball passes by the 8. He's going to shoot the combination here.
Ava, it's interesting. Both of these teams have previously won this particular event. The team of Now We Know 5 years ago captured the title, and then the original Three Amigos all the way back in 2001. And then I believe they said in 03 or 04 they won it a second time. So both very experienced teams here in the Masters Championship.
And we'll see. Yeah, I would have liked for him to get on that 3-ball instead. Then he could have just come down one cushion down and played the 7. He's got a combo here. It's not a super tough, but he's really got to pay attention to the cue ball. He's going to come out for the 3. The problem, anytime you go into the balls without really needing to, a lot of times you're not going to really end up with a shot after that. The 2-ball may pass the stripe that's sitting by the corner pocket. If he can stop the cue ball on the 13. Oh, we decided to bank it. Look out. Ah, boy. Froze right up on the 14 ball, and I don't think he can hit the 2. That's going to be close.
Again, this is David Hunt from the team of Now We Know at the table. David had the break. He's controlled the table since. Yet to see Jose Garcia, who is seated.
See here, he's aiming like he's going to make it. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, no problem there for David.
And, oh, boy. Oh, wow. The last place, other than being snookered, is about the last place you want to be. Jacked up over the 13 ball, I believe it is. Ugh.
So David has a shot, albeit a somewhat complicated one here.
Oh, nice shot.
Makes it look easy, folks. Pockets the 8 ball. Now leads 1-0.
Nice shot there. You know, anytime that you have to, not only do you have to jack up a little bit to where any unwanted spin will actually really kind of magnify because you're hitting down on the ball, but it's harder to aim, obviously, because you can't get down in your regular shooting stance. So a lot of people misjudge just how difficult that shot is, but he did it in just part of the pocket on the 8.
Again, these players are racing to 7, so David now on the board with his first game. And since these players opted to start in the 8-ball set, we will definitely see at least a few games of 9-ball, depending how deep into the match they go. David Hunt once again with the break.
Want to make sure the balls are as much frozen as they possibly can be, so you don't get one of those dud racks there.
Joe Smith, you are correct. That is Foch. Jose Garcia, who you see seated, goes by the name Foch. He said most people won't know him as Jose, except at work. So that is Foch Garcia for those of you that know him on a personal level, and Jose Garcia for those of you who know him through work. He's now going to have his first opportunity at the table.
Yeah, big mistake there, scratching on the break. Although big break for Foch.
Foch Garcia. Again, Foch is part of the original Three Amigos. They are from San Bernardino, California. Their opponents now we know from Richmond, Virginia.
And again, a pretty open table here. He's going to just take his time to kind of plan out what he's going to do. A lot of times you'll see a top player like this will plan out the table, even in 9-ball, where each ball is going to be pocketed. You can't be afraid of changing your mind if things don't quite work out the way you do, but you want to have an idea what you want to do and get to trouble balls as soon as possible, which there aren't too many of them right here. Good idea here would be to leave the 2 ball, so he has a ball to get to the 8. The fact that it's, you know, if he can get straight on the 2 ball later on, the pattern is that you want to get to that 2, just shoot a stop shot. Oh, wow. Well, that was careless. What seemed like an easy run out for him just got a little careless and didn't pay attention to that and missed an easy shot. The only good thing he has going for him, he's blocked the pocket.
Again, if you're just tuning in, this is live coverage of the Masters Championship here at the Westgate Resort and Casino. This event began with 256 teams. You are now seeing the final 2 competing for $10,000. This is David Hunt at the table for the team of Now We Know.
And this is a team event. You can have 4 players on a team. 3 play the match. And it's per wins.
Yeah, it's interesting. It looks like Now We Know actually does have a 4-man roster. So they do have some options in terms of who they throw. It looks like the original Three Amigos opting just for 3 players on their roster. So,
well, they would have to if they're going to continue to be the Three Amigos.
Yeah, I guess
they?
that's true. The 4th one is always going to feel a little left out with that name. Said they were called the Three Amigos the first year that they won, and then the next year there was like 20 teams like named the Three Amigos.
Right,
and so they had to go with the California Amigos, and They have now modified that to the original Three Amigos to remind everyone that they were the first.
And now see if we can slam this cue ball around, come around 2 or 3 rail. No, he's going to play safety. I thought he had a really good angle to come around and break those up. Bottom cushion, side cushion. But instead of taking a chance, he's just going to make things miserable for Foch here.
Yeah, some safety play here. Again, with the caliber of these players, you're either going to see them probably go for a run out or they're going to play safe and make things difficult. So expect a lot of both.
And Foch is faced with one of those. He can jump over this 8 ball. You can use a jump cue in Masters, which obviously you cannot in regular APA play. So he's got that 2 ball in the side, but he's not going to want to take any chances. He knows he has a ball tied up down at the other end, and why take any chances from there? Good shot, real good shot.
Things slowly starting to wind down here at the West Gate. We still have 8-ball competition going on down the hall in the main tournament room. Nice crowd has turned out here for the Masters Championship. Still quite a few folks down in the Mini Mania room getting their fix in terms of Mini Mania play. Of course, we had our big Poolapalooza celebration last night poolside. Did you make it out there, Ava?
You know what? I did not. I didn't make it. I made it the last one. I made the last one.
I know. I did see it the last one. Took the night off, huh? It was a great party, great turnout.
It's fantastic.
It's almost one of my favorite parts of the event. Such a great venue for the pool party here at the Westgate. Great backdrop of the Strip and nice, you see the hotel, very impressive hotel above you. It's a great time.
Well, the race is a race to 7, and the first thing is going to happen is here is 5 games of 8-ball to begin with, and then go into 9-ball after that.
Very similar to our U.S. Amateur Championship rules, which require players to be able to demonstrate proficiency really in both formats, not just one or the other. So I know the players tend to like that challenge.
Foch is faced with a good table here. Just needs to make sure he gets the correct angle to be able to get down to that 2-ball on the other side of the table. Doesn't want to get straight here and make sure he gets an angle. Not a lot, but just enough to where you can put some left spin on this and come across down below the 9. Perfect.
It's amazing to see the position some of these guys can make. It's very impressive.
And even though this table definitely plays a little bit different than the tables in the other room because it has had so much less play on it, they have quickly, players of this caliber will quickly get the speed down of the table.
So Foch Garcia now ties it up 1 game apiece. Brandy Sweeney, it's good to hear. Brandy said she had a great week, and the Westgate is an awesome hotel. We certainly agree with that. It's been amazing this week, Ava, just how great the staff here at this hotel has been. I'm just constantly amazed. You can tell that, over the last couple of years since we've been here, they've kind of grown to understand our players a little bit better, and that has allowed them to provide really great customer service to them. All part of our players returning home having the experience of a lifetime. That's really our goal here at the World Championships.
I'm amazed at how many of the staff, like you said, in the restaurants and everything else know you by name. You kind of go in and go, "Hey, Ava, you're back. Welcome back to the."
Right.
And it's kind of like a big family here, and we spend a lot of time. And if you're anything like me, you don't really leave.
Right.
There's not a lot of reason to leave. Matches to play. There's Mini Mania events going on. The food is good.
Yeah, so much to do here. One of the more popular shows, the Prince Tribute Show, I know is a big thing here at the Westgate. I got a chance to tour that theater yesterday. It was pretty cool. I don't know if you've ever seen that show, but their theater here is very impressive.
I haven't seen it yet.
Talked about potentially using that next year for our league operator convention for general session things.
That would be fun.
Yeah, something a little different. Would allow us to have even more space to work with in terms of the tournament.
Sure.
We are constantly growing our events, so it's always a challenge to utilize our space as best as we can. David Hunt utilizes the bridge there.
He's looking to play that 3-ball combo, as you can see. You can utilize your opponent's balls to make a ball, but you need to hit yours first. So a 3-ball combo like that will work just fine. He could bump into them now and move them over a little bit, but yeah, I was going to say, I'd much rather see him play that combination instead of going into balls. You got to be real careful and really know what you're doing when you do that, or you can mess up a relatively easy run out and make it into kind of a nightmare before it's over with.
Ava Ashley Bly says, y'all are much more handsome and striking in person. I don't know if she's talking about you or me, but we'll just say thank you.
One of us, I would hope, would be handsome. The other one striking, I guess.
There we go. There we go.
I don't know who
Yeah.
or which, but.
David Hunt with the team now we know of Richmond, Virginia. Jamie, the format here is a combination of 8-ball and 9-ball. They will play 5 games of 8-ball, and then they will switch formats to 9-ball where they play up to 8 games.
And they will flip for that. The next match is liable to start with 9-ball first. You can choose which one you want to do first, and obviously you're going to play to your strength.
Yeah, it's interesting. I did not see who won the lag, so if you win the lag, you either have the option to start in the format you want or take the break.
Right.
I did not catch how that all played out, but if that's you, do you opt for the break or do you opt for 8-ball, 9-ball to decide the format? Yeah.
Oh,
if you were playing this format.
9-ball.
You'd start 9-ball.
Oh,
give
yeah.
up the break and start 9-ball.
Yeah. For me. And again, everybody has what they feel is the strength.
Right.
But you got to be careful, because if you give up the break in 9-ball,
you may not.
Especially on a 7-foot
right.
table, I mean, you never even have a shot.
Exactly.
And all of a sudden they run 7 racks and out. It doesn't happen that often, but it definitely happens. And since the race is to 7, you may not even get to the 8-ball.
Right. David taking his time to analyze the table. These players are typically very deliberate in.
Nice shot there. Is he going to get rewarded? Yeah, I think the 5-ball does go. Well, it's going to be close. If the 5-ball goes by the 13, he should be in good shape. But I don't think it does. Now that I look at it live, it's hard to tell from the overhead sometimes.
Brooke, both of these teams have won previously. The team of Now We Know, so they won 5 years ago. The Three Amigos back in 2001 originally.
Looks like he's looking at a bank here on the 5. About the only thing he can do. And again, normally you can go ahead and tie 2 balls up a little bit, but again, being that we're in the Masters division here, that could prove to be a bad move, because as good as these guys are, it's not that difficult to, with that many balls, that many striped on the table, to find a shot where you can break those back open again. So he may have to go for the bank. Oh, close.
Just missed it, but nope.
At least they didn't leave a super easy shot. The 10-ball is obviously very makeable there, but could have been worse.
Carlos Chavez, we appreciate the compliment. And you're right, Ava is superb.
And I want to give a shout out to our YouTube channel watchers. We got some people from Belgium watching.
Really?
It's pretty of an international deal here. It's kind of a cool thing to have everybody watch. You know, and when we have the pros playing, it's usually on ESPN or ESPN2, and unless countries sign up to, you know, and purchase the event, only Americans get a chance to see it.
Right.
But this is
free, so anybody can watch.
And it's anywhere in the world, so that's pretty cool, except for, you know, North Korea.
Yeah, and China maybe.
Yeah.
Of course, we had teams from all the way over in Japan here this week.
You know what, Larry? Larry Fries asked what the skill levels are. I'm guessing that if they've come this far, chances are these guys are going to be 7'9s, 7'8", 6'8" at the very least once they have come this far. But we have a lot of players in this event too that are 5, 6, and 7s that really enjoy playing, come from different parts of the country. But once you make it this far in Masters, odds are pretty good that they are 7'9s.
Right. Score now 2-1 in favor of David Hunt. David examining the rack. You liking some comments over there?
Yeah. And I like Michael's comment that he says it makes me feel so much better about my shooting when my Masters team, when the Masters miss the easy shots. And it's true. And
everybody misses sometimes.
It can be because of what you're trying to do with the cue ball, but a lot of times it's simply just not paying attention or taking something for granted.
Right. Well, and keep in mind how much these guys have played to get here. That's the other thing. You know, they played a 9 a.m. round this morning, semifinal round. I'm guessing they played last night fairly late into the evening. So it becomes really a test of endurance as well, both mentally and physically, you know, to be able to continue to play at a high level at this point in the tournament.
All right, that turned out to be perfect right there. He can come back out. Got the 10 ball in the side if he just wants to come out a little bit. Doesn't have to worry about getting on the 8 ball later. The 8 ball is really clear, so this is just choosing a pattern here. You want to move the cue ball around as little as you possibly can. And again, a little bit careless there by Fach. He would have liked to be more straight in on this ball.
Had a
and
question.
Again, moving the cue ball around, gonna get him in trouble.
Had a question on whether or not they have to mark the pocket. In Masters play, they do not have to mark the pocket, similar to the U.S. Amateur Championship rules. Not required here, so that's a good eye by you folks, though, to notice that the pocket wasn't marked.
All right, back in action again. Nice cut there by Fach.
Derek wants to know what determines whether a player is an amateur or a pro. That's a good question, Derek, and sometimes difficult to answer. We look at all cases of amateur status kind of on an individual basis. We do some research on the player. We find out if, number one, they have a full-time job, an occupation, or if they're playing pool as their occupation. You know, how many pro tournaments are they playing in? How are they finishing in those events? Because, again, it's not difficult to enter a pro tournament as long as you're willing to pony up the entry fee a lot of times.
Exactly.
It all comes down to how are you performing consistently in those tournaments? How frequently are you playing in them? Are you deriving the majority of your income from playing pool? Those are just some of the factors that we take into consideration.
Yeah, and a lot of times it has to be a discussion, too, with one or more league operators along with the staff at the APA to really kind of to do some research. You know, if you have, it's a big difference if you have an amateur entering a few pro events versus, oh, wow, big miscue there. And that was just lack of cue ball control. He got out of line by about a few inches here and there, and that cost him. The run-out got more and more difficult as he went along. But, yeah, finding out, because in the women's division, it's very easy to find out who's the pro. It's very organized, and you know who is a professional and who's not. If you're a semi-pro, pro, touring pro, or an amateur, it's a little bit more difficult in the men's, you know, throughout the country. Then you have a lot of players playing really, really well, and a lot of semi and semi-pro tournaments. And if you have somebody winning a pro tournament, whether they are officially a pro or not, they're not going to be allowed to play APA. Right. So it's kind of we have to do our homework, and it's really because of the Men's Professional Association.
Right.
It should be easier than that, but
not quite as clear cut as some of your other professional sports.
Exactly.
In terms of who is professional and who is not.
And we agree with you, Mike Miller, but it is something, it's not really something that we can do something about. We have to just do the best we can and do research on who can play and who can't.
Right. We do take any information about potentially players not having amateur status. We take that very seriously, do lots of investigation and determine one way or another. So
exactly. Well, a few mistakes here by Foch has given Dave the chance to get back here and run an easy table that's wide open. Just hit this with a little bit of low draw, a little right. He can come around two rails if he wants to. Just want to make sure he does not run into the 8. There you go. Just come straight back. That's the move. Look out.
Uh-oh.
He's fine. And come around 2 cushions. Just a little bit center, right, bottom cushion, side cushion, and come out to get on the 8 ball. No, look, is he going to draw it? No. Oh, wow. That was, oh, he's got the 6 ball. I'm sorry. I didn't even see the 6.
It's kind of hiding up there in the corner, isn't it?
Exactly.
But he didn't forget. Laura, you could watch without the chit-chat. All you have to do is turn the volume down. David Hunt pockets the 8 ball. Now leading 3 games to 1 in this race to 7.
And that's amazing at this level of play, or really any skill level, if you have 2 threes, or if you have 2, but especially at the higher level. It's the same thing with the pros. A lot of times you will win or lose a tournament simply by not making too many mistakes.
Right.
It's not very often you run into somebody that just overpowers you to the point where you just didn't have a chance. Even in the pros, it's usually you can go back and count the mistakes. You may miss the final 8 or the final 9, but just as likely is to miss the second ball you shoot at.
Right.
Those unforced errors, and I've seen Foch do that a little bit, just not really being crisp on his position, where he's going to have to travel the cue ball around the table or go into balls, and got stuck. Perfect break. Perfect break right there.
This is a 7-foot table they're playing on. Some folks asked about the size. All the tables utilized at the World Championships are 3.5 by 7-foot tables.
It looks to me the stripes are definitely the choice here. The only ball that's kind of in a bad spot is the 1 ball. That's not makeable in that pocket right there. Dawn, I actually like the 13 for the Women's League, the 13 cap, because APA has done extensive research on what women's skill levels are, and we do have some 6s in our league, or a few 7s, but the majority of the players and the ladies are 3s to 4s, some 5s for sure, but I know in our area in Wilmington and in the North Carolina, South Carolina, where I am, we have a few 6s, but they have never had any problems finding some 3s and 4s to have on the team. So
right.
To be able to keep it fair, I do believe that the 13 was a good choice for the ladies division as of now.
Again, this is David Hunt of the team Now We Know. They are from Richmond, Virginia. And they are currently leading, or he is currently leading, 3-1. This race to 7. This will be the final game of 8-ball. They will switch to the 9-ball format following this game. If you're just tuning in, you're watching live coverage of the APA Masters Championship here at the Westgate Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. All part of the APA World Pool Championships.
Rick is asking a question here why some areas get slots for Masters but don't even have a Masters League. To tell you the truth, some of the leagues are very small. They can be in different parts of the country, and it's not a very large league, and they don't have enough Masters quality players that really want to play, and they don't feel like they can compete out here. So each league operator, each area gets one slot to begin with in the Masters.
Right. Ava, you're very well versed in all things APA. I have to assume that is because you are one of our league operators.
That could be.
For the folks that don't know, Ava runs the Coastal Carolina APA, along with her husband Mitch and her daughter Nikki and son-in-law Toby. Family affair down there in South Carolina.
Yeah, they're home working while I'm out here having fun, so don't make me feel guiltier than I already do.
All right.
Uh-oh. Oh, perfect. Perfect.
Lisa, you are correct. There are 3 players in each Masters match. The roster can have up to 4 players, but 3 players play in a given match.
He's trying to gauge here how far into the pocket he can play and still make it. You can see that he's got plenty of space there to cheat the pocket a little bit, and then figure out how to get out there for the 8. Can he go into the rail? No, you had to draw it out or take the tougher shot on the 8.
Pretty impressive run here for David. See if he can cap it off by pocketing the 8-ball here.
And there you go.
David now with a commanding 4-1 lead as these players will pull a few balls off the table and move to the 9-ball format.
Well, you can get APA started anywhere in the country where somebody does not already have the APA. In other words, one of the cool things about the APA is we do not, all the league operators, we all work together and try to help improve and discuss and what we can do, help each other on every front, and to make it it's kind of a seamless thing where you can travel around. There's still some areas in the country and out of the country that are available, so if you are interested, you can always contact the staff at Kevin Hinkabine of the American Pool Players Association.
Giving Kevin Hinkabine a shout out.
How about that?
Sitting over there. He's also one of the producers on our stream over there.
And he can help you if you would like to start APA in your area if there's nothing going on there. So
there's probably some fans of Kevin Hinkabine out there, I'd imagine. How could you not be? Of course, our production team, Steve Alejandro behind the camera, operating all the gear here, making everything look good. You see Becky Rosner, who's helping with the manage the comments. Kevin Hinkabine next to her, watching the match intently. Takes quite a few people to bring you this coverage, but we're happy to do so.
You may have seen it a little bit different. I know it was a close-up, but that was a good hit. The other player didn't say anything about it either, and you got to remember, if it is a split hit, it goes to the shooter. If it even, unless the player really sees that it's a bad hit, you got to have, if it's really close, you have to have somebody come over. The opponent that is in the chair needs to ask for somebody to make a hit call. The referee is there at all times, just like in a professional tournament. But unless you ask them to come and watch the hit, they're going to stay out of it and wait for you to ask them to make a call.
Foch Garcia preparing the 9-ball rack. David Hunt will take a look. They both are comfortable with it. Again, Ava, kind of talk to us about what, when they're examining the rack, what they're looking for gaps, spaces.
Yeah, the racker really wants to make sure the bottom 3 are tied up so the 9-ball doesn't go flying into the corner pocket. The breaker wants to make sure the top 3 balls are really frozen so that you don't get one of those dud racks. So usually people ask me, how do you make the 9 on the break and 9-ball? And it has more to do with how the balls are racked than it does how you hit them.
David pocketed the 1 on the break. Looks like he also got 2-ball.
He's got the 4 up here. Perfect angle to draw it back for the 5, which does pass by the 9, I do believe. You can cheat it a little bit. The cloth is still new on these tables in here in the championship arena, so they're going to slide a little bit more, and that obviously makes the pocket larger. The longer you play on the table, the tighter the pockets are going to get. Oh, wow. He drew that. I think he's fine.
Very curious here who opted to start in the 8-ball rack.
I guess we'll have to pay attention next game.
Yeah, maybe some of the maybe some of the viewers can chime in.
Oh, I guess it doesn't go. Look at that. He's also looking at the combination on the 9. And again, this is not the point system as like a regular 9-ball and APA. This is whoever pockets the 9 here wins. Nice shot.
Folks, David Hunt now leading 5 games to 1 in this race to 7. Of course, in the 3-person format, so critical to jump out and get that first win if you can.
Absolutely. And that's true. You can start with 8-ball or 9-ball, and you will see both variations. There's no rule that you have to start with one or the other. It's a player's choice.
Yeah, I believe if you win the lag, you have the option on the format or the break, right? Just like U.S. Amateur Championship rules. Of course, our U.S. Amateur Championship preliminary rounds will be taking place here in a few weeks around the country, about the 3rd week of September, I believe. And those top players will advance to the U.S. Amateur Championship in Tampa, held in November. That's a really outstanding event if you want to see some great pool play. They're down at Strokers, Palm Harbor, Florida.
And if David can control the cue ball here, Foch may be in trouble even getting to the table.
Impressive break.
Yeah.
Pockets the 1 and the 7-ball.
His problem is where the 2-ball is, but he's got an pretty easy safety here. He can go ahead and bank the 2-ball up between the 6 and the 8 and just drift the cue ball straight up towards the 9-ball and leave it on the cushion for a snooker.
Mike Guernsey, the U.S. Amateur Championship at the final round level in Tampa is played on all 9-foot tables. So I believe there are a few select preliminary rounds where they utilize 7-foot tables in markets where they just don't have enough a facility large enough to host a preliminary on 9 foot. So,
right.
But at the championship level in Tampa, those are all 9-foot tables.
No, he decided to go for it. I'm a little surprised there with that easy of a safety opportunity, but he didn't like it, and he got away with it a little bit. The best Foch is going to have here is a combination on the 5. It's fairly straight in, but any combo is missable, as we all know. Good shot there.
Foch Garcia at the table, one of the original Three Amigos. Foch said the guys took a few years off and decided to get the team back together and make another run at it.
I would have expected him to go to rail position there up for the 4, but he tried to put reverse on it, come straight up, and is now faced with this. He definitely can't let David back to the table again. Oh, nice shot.
Foch pockets that in the corner.
Slam this cue ball into the Cushion him back out. Doesn't want to get straight. He wants to have a chance to get over it to the 9. Yeah, he's making it a little tricky on himself here.
Foch has quite a few fans tuning in. Big Foch fan club here on
the Foch fan
the
club.
live stream. Foch has an opportunity to cut David his lead in half here. Pockets the 9 ball.
Oh, wow,
Which he is
no.
unable to do.
Left it kind of funny. It looks like it might have a chance to still go in the side pocket.
David
but it's
Hunt with a
not
big
where you want
opportunity here.
You saw David shake his head a little bit there. Not where he wanted that 9 ball. He's trying to see if he can make the 9 in the corner without scratching in the side. If he can draw it or slow roll it and cheat the pocket a little bit. It's going to be close. Sometimes this shot is just unmakeable and you just have to go for the bank or play a safe. Then, you know, it gets in that one spot where you just can't make it without scratching. And it's starting to look like that's where it is.
Again, there's no timeouts allowed here in the Masters Championship. Each of these players is left on their own to decide the best shot or the best route to take for a shot.
I love Carlos Chavez's attitude there. 3-rail bank with forward English. That's not really something that you want to play at this point. It's a 3-rail bank. Fun for exhibitions, but if you can avoid a 3-rail bank, then I would do that. The cut in the side is a lot tougher when you see it live than when you see it in the overhead. It distorts it just a little bit. We'll see if he can. Oh, he went for the bank. Yeah, just landed in that no man's land.
So Foch will have an opportunity to redeem himself here. Seems to be a fairly makeable shot on the 9. Pockets it in the corner. And cuts David's lead in half. David Hunt now leading. No, not quite in half. Leading 5-2.
I was gonna say
Close
something,
to half,
but I was gonna
know.
let it go.
I'm trying to be positive for Foch. He's coming back. He's coming back. Foch told me before the match he's been on dialysis for the last 25 years.
Oh, wow.
Every day, yep.
Wow.
Yep.
So all these matches, one after another after another.
Yeah,
I'm sure
very impressive.
Takes it's told more on Foch than probably anybody else. I mean, that's not.
I would think so, yeah. He says he does it, though, because he loves to play pool.
How can you not? Ooh, and he got a shot on the 1, too. That 2 ball, though, keeps staying down there. Both players are racking the 2 down towards the bottom, and that keeps it down at the other side of the table usually. Even if he gets down there on the 2, he would have to get absolutely perfect on the frozen to the rail to be able to make it past the 8, or he would have a combination on the 7. If he can at least get close to it, he can play a good safety, probably a snooker if he can't run it out. Yeah, where's the music, Gary? Gary Zip was asking in our Coastal Carolina League, we usually have the music.
Typically, we do have some house music. We're going to see if we can't get that corrected. There we go. There's a little house music.
Thanks to you, Gary. We got some music.
Good job, Gary. You can always tell when the music, it just seems a little more tense in the room. So we do have kind of background music playing, not just in the finals, but really all the tournament rooms at all times.
Yeah, who plays pool at home with no music?
Right.
You know, who goes into
music?
Even when I play at home, I have a Brunswick table at home, and when I'm practicing, I still have the music going. I rarely just go in and hit balls when it's quiet. Oh, Jamie, you're my favorite now. Let's see here. A little bit on the wrong angle on the 3, but 4 being where it's at, he doesn't really have to worry about position, just avoiding getting behind that 5.
If you're just tuning in, you are seeing coverage of the APA Masters Championship live from Las Vegas. Tough miss there for David.
He's left a really sharp angle shot into the side. I don't like that. It's too sharp, so I think he's going to play this down in the corner and play the combination on the 4. You just got to pretend that 4 is not down there by the pocket and play it as if you're going to try to make it.
This is Foch Garcia at the table. Foch, also known as Jose, goes by Foch amongst his friends. He goes by Jose at work. Ava, can you sing? I was asking if you can sing.
Yeah, no. My daughter used to ask me not to sing lullabies at night, so if that tells you something. Oh, Foch, he's really gotten just careless. He's playing super pool and then missing, getting down quickly on it and just not showing due respect for those easy shots. And
you do have to wonder again at this point in the tournament if that's some mental fatigue.
It could be. It could be nerves. It could just be not paying attention, feeling comfortable, whatever. I mean, we all have reasons why getting that spot.
Well, and nerves is a good point too, because again, you know, these are highly skilled players. However, you now have a crowd of a couple hundred people. The room has filled up. Of course, you have the cameras on you and the eyeballs on you. It's not your typical league match, or even really your typical tournament match up until this point. I mean, I was in here for semifinals, and there were maybe a couple dozen people, but the room has really filled up now.
Yeah. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Let the cue ball go again. Huh. Well, you could have a 3-rail kick here if you come around 3 cushions and just play it a little bit longer than you normally would. If you're going to try to make it, and just try to hit it. If you go 1 cushion, you could very easily scratch if you hit on the left side of the 7 ball. So, to me, unless you just take an intentional foul, push the 9 ball up against the 7, that's a real touch shot, and then at least, you know, you're obviously going to give ball in hand, but it's the 3-rail kick is there.
Right. This is the first match here in the Masters Finals.
Somebody asked if it makes a difference playing on a 7 or 9 foot table. Yes. I mean, obviously it's easier to make balls on a 7 foot table. There's no question about that. If I'm playing 9 ball, it's much easier on a 7 foot table. If you play 8 ball, however, with all that traffic, unless the balls open up just right, it's a tougher game, I think, on a 7 foot table than a 9 foot table.
Sure.
Because you have more opportunity for it to be a mess. And yeah, 8 ball on a 9 foot table is definitely, to me, easier than it is on a 7 foot table.
These players playing in a race to 7, they've played 5 games of 8 ball. They could potentially play up to 8 games of 9 ball for a total of 13 in a particular match. Again, the first player to 7 is the winner of the individual match. First team to win 2 individual matches will be your champion.
Gilbert, I have never played in the APA Masters before. I've been a pro pretty much since I moved here from Sweden a few years ago. So no, I haven't. But love watching it at home, and we got some really good players in our area too.
Ava, you got somebody moving to Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
You got a new member there.
Come on down.
Coastal Carolina APA. You can go to our website, poolplayers.com,
and our local site is Coastal Carolina APA is ccpoolplayers.com. So you can say hey, and we'll see if we can set you up. And here goes Dave.
Pockets the 9 in the corner. David Hunt, folks, now on the hill, leading 6 games to 2 over Foch Garcia.
And Foch has been playing well. His problem is that he just has been letting the cue ball go, running into balls when he doesn't need to because he didn't quite get there. You know, a few inches is all it takes. Staying on the correct side of the ball is so important. You can be, you know, 3 inches off, and all of a sudden you have a difficult out that should have been an automatic. So, just a few mistakes by Foch has given Dave a few games, and then David has stolen a few on his own, and that's got him ahead 6-2. Yes, Gilbert, you can jump in the APA. In the Masters, you're allowed to use a jump cue. And in the amateur, the regular, without everything except for Masters, you can jump if you're good enough to jump with your own cue. But obviously, you have to hit down on the cue ball to have it come up, which is a much more difficult shot than the foul, which is to scoop from underneath. So if you're good enough to jump, you can, unless your location you play out of says no jump shots allowed. That we have no control over. And you can jump in regular league, sure. Just can't use the jump cue. And part of that is because the only players that's going to benefit are your 7s and your 6s perhaps, a few 5s, but mostly it's the higher skill level players. And we do have a few rules in the APA. This is an amateur league, and we do have a few rules that kind of helps with the equalizer system, because I don't know any 2s and 3s that know how to jump the balls, so that kind of helps equalizing a little bit so that the 7s can't control the table the same way they would. You know, that's why we also don't have a push out like we do in the pros, and they do here in the Masters.
Ava, there was a question about who was the toughest opponent you ever played. Is there one particular person, or is there?
Well, for
me,
there's so many great players. Obviously, Alison Fisher has been a tough opponent, but for me, it has been the 2 players have been Jean Belucas, who retired actually in the late 80s, but she was playing with the men. She beat a lot of the top players of that day in tournaments as well. She was a phenomenal player, great break, great all-around player. And then to me, Karen Kaur is just
absolutely also a Hall of Famer. Yeah.
Oh wow, she's tough.
A couple of Hall of Famers.
Trying to figure out, obviously, I believe he's going to hit this. He's trying to figure out where to hit to make sure that get something going there. Did a good job avoiding the 2, and that's not a bad turnout right there with the cue ball almost on the rail. Good shot by Foch.
Foch pockets the 1 in the corner.
Game, this match is far from being over. I believe Foch has the ability here, if he can get this and get it to 6-3. He's right back in it again. And here's the key shot here, getting on this 6 ball. He can draw it straight back as long as he doesn't touch the cushion and draw it back. Or if he does, just graze it and shoot the 6-9 combo. He can draw it into the 6 right now. That's not really what he wanted to do there. If he could have just gone into the 9 and stuck right there, he would have been okay, but this is not what he was looking to do. Jason Hayes, no. I never let anybody win. What are you talking about? Unless they're 12 or under, then they can win. Certainly not Mitch.
Ava, based on what you're seeing here at the table, is this match soon to be over? David on the hill. Any problems here?
He's got a bit of a tester. The fact that, you know, you want to hit this shot with center and hit it with some authority, but then he would be flirting with either the side pocket if he drew it a little too much, to scratch in there, or go away from the 7, he could end up far down. He's going to have to really just hit this and really stun it past the side pocket and come back out. And he did that. Nice shot. Nice shot. Just past it. And a little, you know, a little bit of right spin on this should bring into where he had a good shot just below the side pocket. You don't have to get straight in on this 9, just to the other side of the table without scratching. Oh, he missed it. That's the little English that you have to put on there. Was that right spin, not left? It was right spin that he put on that caused him to miss that.
And that's a big miss, folks. That would have been the first match in favor of David. Instead, Foch pockets the 9 ball. Cuts into David's lead. David now leading 6-3. Foch will have the break.
And again, I have a feeling watching his ability, Foch has run 4 racks before quite a few times in his career, so David is by no means safe by sitting there on the hill.
Question here about whether either you or Mitch offer coaching where you're at locally.
Yeah, I'm on the road a lot still, so in between that and our APA events, so I usually do for our players, I kind of do some raffle stuff and we do a lesson, but it's I don't do a lot. I'm doing some clinics here and there.
What about Mitch? Is he giving any lessons?
I was kind of just slide right by that. No, he does not.
No lessons from Mitch. How is Mitch in terms of his skill? Is he a pretty good player?
No, he is great at what he is hired to do.
I understand,
you know, he knows more than you do. Let's put it that way.
Right.
But his job is to kind of lead us in, whoever's doing commentary with
Sure.
him. But yeah, no, he doesn't play. We have a lot of fun sometimes when we have people over and play, but he's not your champion, that's for sure.
I understand he's a pretty good golfer, though.
He does much better at golf. Yes,
He likes to play with actual like wood clubs. Is that right?
The hickories,
Hickory clubs.
All his clubs are more than 100 years old.
Wow.
That's all he does.
That's
now.
pretty cool.
Yeah, it's great. They're hard to hit, though. Oh my goodness.
Thank you very much, William Leonard. Appreciate the compliment.
And thank you, Dee. I appreciate that too.
If you're just joining us, this is live coverage of the APA Masters Championship. Final round.
Foch has himself found himself in big trouble here trying to get to this 3 ball. He would have to go 2 cushions. Bottom, side, just missing the 5 there. It's makeable. The one good thing about a kick like this, if he goes 2 rails, is that most players can feel going 2 cushions and scratching. That's something that you should work on, is putting the cue ball and just feeling a 2-rail scratch, 3-rail scratch, something you can just practice with the cue ball. He's looking to see if he can go the 1 cushion instead. I like, well, I guess he must be able to hit the 1 cushion. I'm not sure what he's looking at, even if he has to add a little bit of left spin.
Foch knows the margin for error at this point is very slim.
Not enough left.
That's not going to help his cause.
And this should be it for game 1 here, bringing up the next 2 players for the second matchup here. The only issue really here is the fact that the 5 ball is on the cushion, but the 6 is an easy ball to get on and to get on the 9 from there. So more or less a stop shot here would be good, because then he could just draw it over for the 5. Came a little bit far, but he's okay. Oh, he was okay. Holy smokes. Oh, I don't like this shot at all. This is, ugh. Slightest bit of spin here will kill him. I don't know that they're both frozen. If they're off the rail just a little bit, just a tad, it's a much easier shot. So hopefully for Dave's sake, they're not both frozen. There you go. One of the toughest shots in pool is when both balls, the cue ball and the object ball, is frozen to the rail. It looks like he missed it by a mile, but he probably missed it by a millimeter.
Right.
Or less. Nice shot and perfect position, natural shape all the way around the table. And Foch is refusing to give up. No, he's not going anywhere.
Quietly. Foch now with an opportunity to pull within 2. His pockets the 9 in the corner.
And that's interesting. And it was all because of the position on the 4 ball. He got a little bit too far, where he had to draw it back the wrong angle. Instead of coming towards the 5, he kind of went away from it, hit a little bit too far, and you saw where he got, you know, we ended up. A little bit unfortunate that the cue ball landed right on the rail. But when it comes down to it, it's not bad luck. It's his fault.
You're right.
Just hit it a little too far.
We did have kind of an interesting question, Ava. Somebody wanted to know how you maintain your passion for the sport after all these years to allow you to still play at a high level.
Yeah, and that's a good question. I talked to a couple of the professional golfers about that too, because other than pool, golf is one of those sports you can play for quite a while too. It's
right.
As opposed to if you're a football player and you know your pro career is 3 or 4 years old.
Yeah.
Long. So yeah, I mean, for me, I love pool. I just love the game. The hard part for me is not competing. It's not the passion I have for the sport. I don't really enjoy spending 8-10 hours a day practicing anymore the way I used to. But the hunger is there. I kind of go in and out at this point. I'm not as hungry maybe as I was before I won any championships or when I was 19, 20 years old. But I find I have flashes where I really, really want it.
Had somebody asking about April Larson, one of the young up-and-coming American players. I believe April's probably, what, about 17? Are you familiar with her?
April is great.
Yeah,
she's a super girl, super, super nice, incredibly professional.
Yeah.
In her manner, in her play, and very well-liked girl. She's really, really very talented as well. So, yeah, I mean, if she stays with it and can figure out how to deal with her schooling and billiards and find a fine line there, I think she has a chance of being the new one to deal with here in the United States anyway. A lot of great Asian players, a lot of great European players, but here in the U.S., April is probably the one with the best chance of creating a heck of a career. So.
David Hunt once again at the table. David has had a couple opportunities here, Ava, to close this match out, has failed to do so. So we'll see if he can get it done here.
And that will get involved in the game. When you have had some chances of finishing a match, when you're especially on the hill or close to it and you're way ahead and you mess up a few times, you dog it a few times, that's going to get to you, and it gets, all of a sudden the rack looks like it's the toughest thing in the world to be able to get out. So you're starting to feel that pressure, and at the same time, Foch gets pumped up, and here we go again, another mistake. Oh, he needed that, though. Got lucky there on Foch by snookering behind the 2.
Foch is a member of the original Three Amigos. They are out of the San Bernardino APA in Southern California. We had a Southern California team in the finals last year, didn't we? I think the champions were from Southern California, so Orange County last year. Quite a few folks come down from Southern California to take part in the World Championships. A lot of folks I ran into this week just came down to play in minis. Actually, met quite a few people this year that were just here to play minis. Met another guy
lot
from
of people.
Albany, New York, that
Yeah.
came all the way out for the entire event just to play minis. One of the nice benefits of being an APA member, even if you don't qualify for one of the world championships,
That room is crazy.
you have the opportunity to come out and play on the big stage in
Yeah.
the Mini Mania events, and a lot of folks take advantage of that. Get to experience the
Nice
World
combo.
Championships.
Okay, let's see if Dave can do it again. One more chance at this. Somebody asked how I got started playing pool. I just kind of accidentally stumbled into the pool room one day with a friend of mine and played a couple of times, and literally I got home and told my parents, this is what I want to do. I found it. And they kind of laughed at it, obviously, at the time, but it worked out that way. I won the Swedish Championship, the European Championship, and came over here to play in the U.S. when I was 17.
I'm curious at what point your parents said, okay, this was a good choice. Was
yeah, it was kind of cute.
Was that when you were inducted into the Hall of Fame? Was that your first championship? At what point were they like, okay, you made the right call?
I don't know. I think it was. I signed with Brunswick Billiards in 1988, and around that time they went. My dad kind of looked at me. He said, "So you're really going to do this, huh?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "So they really actually pay you to do this?" I said, "Yes, Dad."
Yeah.
So.
I'm sure that New York Times cover probably helped a little bit too. I'm sure that was highlight of your career, right?
Yes.
One of them, one of many.
That was a life changer. There's no question.
I bet.
All right, here we go. Long shot here on the 4. Not sure if that 5 goes. He may have to go down and up again with the cue ball and play the 5 in the other corner. Yep. Ooh, that's not good. Right on it. Right on it. And frozen. Well, everything keeps going wrong for Dave right now, and he's getting a little frustrated.
Surely allowing Foch right back into this match. You can see the referee there taking a look.
Now, if the balls are frozen, if they're actually touching, you can shoot right through it. If there's space between the 5 and the cue ball and he decides to shoot straight on this 5, then you really have to make sure you jack up the back of the cue. There looks like there could be, if you see where he's aiming right now, if you can shoot the 5 into the 7, he's liable to make the 8 here. He's trying to see the tangent line, full hit on the 7, on the little bit on the right-hand side, should bring the 5 towards the 8. The other option you can have that I see is to just thin this 5 ball and drift the cue ball into the side cushion behind the 9. It's a touchy little shot. And the one thing that has been haunting both of these players a little bit is the speed of the table. So, oh, he's going for the 8. Nice shot.
Wow, what a shot.
It was there. He saw it. Shot it like it was automatic. And then one last tester here. He's going to have to hit this 5 ball with some right spin and come one cushion and in between the 7 and 9, or he can go 2 rails, but I think he's going to go the 1 rail. And here we go. That'll work too.
David Hunt once again with this match in view, if he can pocket these last 2 balls.
Trying to find a path for the cue ball here again. You don't want to go into the 9 if you can help it. All right, that'll work. It was close enough where he could control where the 9 was going, and this is it. Dave has just put a big smile on his face going, finally, I think this is going to be over. And there you have it.
David Hunt pockets the 9 ball, takes the first match in favor of Now We Know, the team from Richmond, Virginia. They are now leading by 1 match. They need only 1 more victory to secure that championship title. Looks like they've already selected their next player, which will be Chris Bruner. And we'll see who the Three Amigos opt to put up here. It's interesting. I don't have the information, but I'm curious with the 4-man roster how many matches each of them have played throughout this tournament.
Right.
What lineup they've continued to go with, or if they've played the same guys.
Well, a lot of times there's like 3 jam-up players and 1 player that is maybe not quite as good of a player, but is always there for league play and everything else. That's what I've found. And Masters players, you know, out here, I always recommend let everybody play. If you have an 8-man team, let everybody have a chance to play. Who knows if you're going to make it back to Vegas again.
Sure, yeah. It's a long way to come to not play.
Exactly. But in the Masters, these guys couldn't care less, most of them.
Yeah.
You know,
a lot of them have been
win.
here before, sure.
Yeah. They couldn't care less if they end up playing or not. So everybody's a little bit different. Some will have a meeting before and say everybody's going to get a chance to play. And some teams say, we don't care who plays. We just want to win.
Right.
So that's a totally individual.
Lisa, these players are playing for $10,000 first place prize money. Of course, all of the entry fees in the Masters, as well as Ladies 8-Ball and Jack and Jill events, these are all part of the Showdown Series. 100% of the entry fees are paid back to the top 25% of the field. So in this case, these players are playing for $10,000 first place prize money. Runner-up will get $5,000. So this is essentially a $5,000 match, if you will. And you're seeing the breakdown on the payouts. Got the lag here. This is Chris Bruner and I believe Elias Valles here for the Three Amigos. I'll wait for confirmation, but I believe this is Elias. Frank Almanza still seated. Frank's been around the league for a long, long time. Very familiar with that name. And they will start in the 8-ball format here. Again, they will play 5 games of 8-ball, up to 8 games of 9-ball, race to 7. First player to get 7 victories will be the winner. And if that happens to be a member, or happens to be Chris Bruner, the member of Now We Know, they will be your champions, as they already have 1 match victory. Need just 1 more.
I do see, you know, everybody has their own strategy, but I think the most common strategy we do see is that players put up their strongest players first. You know, a lot of times you'd like to have your strongest player for last, but if you've got to be careful with that, because you may not get to the 3rd match.
Right.
Because it's, you know, in the team it's a race to 2. So if you leave your last player, they could be sitting the whole time and never even get there. So
yeah.
I think a lot of the teams will fire it up the strongest they can early on.
Some rack adjustments going on here. Again, the Masters is the 4th of 5 championships to be decided here at the World Championships. Tomorrow we will bring you coverage of the 8-ball World Championship. I believe that is scheduled to begin at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow. I believe last time I checked, Ava, there were 32 teams still competing in that event down the hall. Of course, hundreds more players still competing in mini mania events. Those will continue through tonight. And when we come back tomorrow, just the championship arena will remain. 1 match or 2 matches still to be decided. Or 2 rounds, I should say. Technically 3 matches, 2 semifinals and a final. Look forward to that tomorrow. Again, that's 3 p.m. You can tune in. 6 p.m. for those of you on the East Coast.
Good combo there, except for the 12-ball end up getting tied up with a 6. moved that around a little bit too much there, and all of a sudden everything was open, and now it's not. So he's going to have to figure out a way to break those up, I believe.
The last match was won by the team of Now We Know. So they are currently leading 1-0.
Gutsy shot would be here to draw that cue ball into them, but it is a long way to go. You'd have to put a real power draw on it. No reason to go into it yet. If he can hold the cue ball there somewhere, making the 14 can bring it back up. No, he tried the draw. A little bit of a not far-fetched. He's good enough to make that shot all day long, but in this pressure situation, it may not be a bad idea. You could have just kind of held the cue ball there on the 14 on the end rail, thin that in, and then had the cue ball go up with a little bit of right spin. But now he's led Elias to the table. Elias with not an easy shot anywhere. He's got the 5 down at the end of the table. That's open, and his balls are open. So this first shot is going to be big for him. As it always is, I guess.
Sure, especially so with the caliber of players you see here.
You can't go anywhere if you don't make that first one.
You have limited opportunity for mistakes, no doubt.
Hi, Bob Hart. How are you, buddy? Bob's one of my dudes. All right, starting out with a bank shot. Perfect. Now he can go down and take care of those. 5 ball. It didn't really want to knock that 14 up there, but he should be able to get to that now that he's got the cue ball down there. He may be able to just make the 4 and draw straight back into the 5. Looks like a dead straight back draw to me from here, but he may have too much of an angle to do that.
Well, the room is very quietly filled up. Some of our lights and things, it's a little tough to see out into the audience, but very few seats remain. If you're still here at the Westgate, come on down and join us, take in this great match.
Elias is taking a look at what's going to happen here because he wants to go into this 5 ball now and solve that. The 6 is obviously open, so if he can just get an open shot here once he hits it. Other than that, he would have to shoot a combination on the 7-1. And that's perfect. That's perfect. That's how you solve that problem, just so you know, Jason.
Looks like a good
solution. In case that comes up.
Looks like a good solution.
Okay, good. And this is kind of, you pick your pattern that you prefer because they're all on the same side of the table. You got 3 balls on the same side of the table. You just really need to pick which order you want to make them and then really focus on playing position. And this is the last thing you want to do. Oh my gosh, there's 3 balls on the table, overhits it, and he has no shot. He doesn't have a combo, no shot at the 5. And he needs to come up with something creative here because the table is pretty easy for Chris if he gets to it.
Ava, we had a question about who are our favorite American pros right now.
Well, I know who yours is, right?
Who?
Right.
Well, do we count you as American? You are American, right? We count you?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm
just want to make sure.
Citizen,
You get
as much
to count
as you
both.
are.
I understand.
I can't be president like you
Right.
could, but
I happen to like some of the younger, in terms of the male pros, I like some of the younger up-and-coming players.
Yeah.
Skyler. I had a chance to meet Billy Thorpe for the first time. He was out here at the pool party the other night. He's kind of burst onto the scene, young Billy Thorpe. I think he's about 20 years old or 21. Justin Bergman. You know, some of these young up-and-comers, hopefully
nice shot.
The players that are going to, at some point, bring us a Moscone Cup back. Of course, it's been a lot of years since the Americans have claimed. I think so. I'm going to be there this year rooting them on.
So am I. We're going to have, this is the 50th anniversary of the Billiard Congress of America Hall of Fame.
Right.
that I am fortunate enough to be part of.
It's
and honored. And they're going to fly all of us out. We're going to have a big deal as far as that goes. And we'll be going to the Moscone Cup.
Yeah.
It's fun that it's going to be here in Vegas.
I'm glad you mentioned that. That should be an amazing night. The United States Billiard Media Association, along with the Billiard Congress of America, coming together to recognize both Darren Appleton and Dr. Q. Tom Rossman, obviously a good friend of ours, will be inducted this year. But they are bringing all of the living Hall of Famers, at least those that can make it, I understand, to Las Vegas as well for kind of an unbelievable evening of billiard celebrities, if you will. I know they'll have tickets available soon for that, so mark your calendars. That'll be here in Las Vegas in December, that event, both the Moscone Cup and the Hall of Fame banquet at Mandalay Bay. Something to look forward to. That will definitely be a special evening.
Looking forward to it. And Chris said, you know what, just go ahead. I know you got this, Elias. And passed over that 8-ball to him. Didn't have to make it, but 1-0 there to Elias. And he made it, he created a mess getting out of line, but he solved it and took care of that rack like it was nothing.
Chris changing up the wardrobe, huh? Tyson, there are no handicaps here. Again, this is Masters play. The race is to 7. They are in their second game of 8-ball. They will play 5 games of 8-ball, and then they will turn to the 9-ball format where they can play up to 8 games. So it is a race to 7. Elias currently leading 1-0. Elias, a member of the original Three Amigos, who are currently trailing in the match, the team match.
You could see there that Elias hit that real side break, and that's why not a lot of action on one side of the table there. So it's going to be more of a chess game, this game, as far as a run out. Really have to pay attention and plan out. The last few games we've seen of 8-ball here, these guys have been really opening the table when they've broke. This is kind of a little bit of a straight pool run out where you really have to plan, stay on the correct side of the ball, and just kind of nip and tuck and get the balls out so that they're makeable. There you go. Solved a few situations there, and voila. The table is open, and Chris has a good chance of running out here. 2-ball, almost straight in. I don't see any major issues on this table. Again, everything is open. Nothing's tied up. Nothing is right on the rail except for the 5-ball, which is easy to get over to. Well, it was an easy table. Wow, Chris. That was just really careless right there. A little bit nonchalant when he went after that. He had to. That was a huge mistake.
Yeah,
huge mistake.
A little frustration from him as he shakes his head and kind of surveys the scene. Of course, you can track any of the teams that competed here at the World Championships by going to our website, poolplayers.com, and using CompuSport. See where your favorite player or teams finished in this year's event. See if they're still competing, if they're still alive in the 8-ball event.
But the only options Chris would have here is a super thin backwards cut on the 3-ball, or a thin cut on the 6 down in the corner. There's really no option to play safety here with all the balls open all over the table, and Elias having the power that he has and the ability he has. And nice shot, Chris. But cinching that ball kind of let the cue ball loose. He wasn't too worried about where the cue ball was going to go as long as he didn't scratch. But now he's got another tester coming up.
Chris Barber, we don't have any skill level minimum, if you will, nationally for the Masters format. Generally, though, you're going to find your upper echelon players, your 7s and 8 ball, your 9s and 9 ball, maybe a 6 and a 7 or an 8 and 9 ball, but typically your upper skilled players.
All right, and then somebody said the cue ball slid. Yeah, he didn't really play it the way he needed to, but the cue ball is going to slide because the table, the cloth is newer here. Very little use on it. We only use this table for the finals. And this is the same thing that happens to us in the pros when you're playing on the TV table. You play a whole week on tables that have been used, that have slowed down a little bit, and then you come out here and you're like Bambi on ice. And you get used to it. Usually players of this caliber especially are going to find how the cue ball is going to react and how the table runs after a rack or so. But you just need to keep that in mind. You just have to adjust. Same thing for both players. And especially when you play on the TV lights, they really dry out the table. And here in Vegas, it dries out even more. So the table is going to slide more and be faster than normal.
Of course, this event taking place at the Westgate Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. The Westgate, formerly known as the Las Vegas Hilton. A lot of folks, when I run into and they say, "Where's the event?" I say, "The Westgate." They say, "Where?" I say, "You remember the Las Vegas Hilton?" "Yep, that's it."
That's it.
So, made a lot of fantastic upgrades to this property the last several years.
They really have.
I like that international bar out front. That's always a fun time. Always packed during our event. The sports book has undergone some pretty cool changes. Saw Brett Musburger there yesterday, speaking of commentating.
Did you? You went up and bothered him and asked for an autograph, didn't you?
He was, no, of course not. He was doing a some type of Sirius radio broadcast, and they were there at the Westgate. Of course, the Westgate has, it's like the world's largest sports book. It's really impressive if you've never seen it, and they were broadcasting live. A lot of times when you see Super Bowl odds and some big sporting event odds come out, they usually refer to the Westgate's odds in their sports book. So, yep. Brett Musburger.
Been around for a while.
Yeah. We should have had him come in and call the match. Offer some insight on. You think he knows a lot about pool?
I was going to say, I don't want to trade you out because I don't think he can take my seat.
I'll take that.
He would have to take your seat.
I'll take that. You'd rather have me than Brett Musburger. I appreciate that.
Well, at least you'll learn what number, what the color balls are.
Uh-huh.
Wait.
I know where you're going with that.
What's the 6 ball?
I know where you're going with that. 6 ball's green.
That's a good boy.
This is Elias at the table.
Nice shot. I like his style. He doesn't look frazzled even when he does get out of line or something goes wrong. He just kind of assesses what the new situation is. And a lot of time when, us older players, if you will, I mean, you've been through it, seen it all, done it all, where younger players a lot of time get frustrated and get down on themselves. I haven't seen that in Elias at all. He just kind of makes a comeback and does what he has to do.
So that was interesting. You see kind of a sign of respect there. Elias had a very makeable shot on the 8 ball. Chris Bruner basically concedes the game there, does not even ask him to shoot it, which again, very much a sign of respect between these players. Elias seems very poised to me, very calm, very poised.
He's played in some tournaments in his life, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's got some experience, so.
And again, my favorite part about this sport, too, is that you can play it pretty much for your entire life. We have some real strong junior players in our area, and then we have some people that play super pool that have, that are up there in the years a little bit.
Yeah.
So
I know Becky and Steve, they're kind of working behind the scenes. I know they talked to a lady earlier this week. I think she was in her 90s. Here at the World Championships, so a game that can be enjoyed by folks of any age, any physical ability. That's why we love it. And there's never any rainouts.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Well, I take that back. We did have 1 year at the Riviera where there was
there was
some rain in the
roof
Mini
leaked.
Mania room. Yeah, remember that year? Of course, Vegas, most of these casinos are not built to handle large amounts of water, so when they get it, occasionally they run into issues with leaks, and that happens at any of the properties out here. And
weight of snow up north.
That particular year, we did have a bit of a rain delay in the Mini Mania event. So
we're going to get back to the game here, but I just want to quickly say how great that is to hear Matt Munovich, I think it says. Says, hey, the Monkeys are an amazing APA team. Became friends when we played them 2 years ago and kept up the great work with your teams. I talked to some of the players on one of our teams that were called the Barrel of Monkeys, one of the teams, and they were here 2 or 3 years ago, and they were telling me about a team from California. They played them in the APA and had so much fun playing with. They became friends. So they had told me about you as well. So that's fun to hear that when you can compete and then leave the arena after the match as good friends, you know, from opposite sides of the country. So.
This is Chris Bruner now at the table. Chris, a member of the team Now We Know. Chris's teammate, David Hunt, won his first match, so they are leading by 1 in terms of the team match score. You see there on the right of the screen now. Now Chris trying to do his part, cut into Elias's lead. He'd like to avoid going to a third match if he can. Of course, Elias currently seated, trying to get to that third match so he can get his teammate Frank Almanza to the table. Frank, the captain of the team. Of course, as we mentioned, both of these teams have previously won this event. I believe the Three Amigos are actually original members of that team. I think the team of Now We Know maybe has had a couple of new players in the mix, but
it would be fun for both of these teams to repeat, obviously.
Sure.
Now We Know 5 years ago they won it. The original Three Amigos, I mean, 2001 and 3 or 4, I mean, that's been a long time. That would be a pretty amazing feat. We'll see here. Chris got himself in trouble, again, wrong side of this 9-ball to be able to go up and deal with the balls up there. The 15 doesn't go past the 14, so if he makes the 9, he can't really go anywhere with the cue ball. He's looking possibly to play the 11-14 combo, but boy, that looks like okay, so 3-ball combo. No easier. 11 to 14. Tall order there, you got to really trust it. Just really pick a spot and just trust it. Nice shot.
Brian, the first match was won by David Hunt of the team Now We Know. And they lead 1-0 in this best of 3.
And again, he's let Elias back in a fairly open table. Kind of a tough shot here to start out with, though. He got a little bit lucky there, Chris did. Elias doesn't really have, looks like about the only shot he's got is on this 1 ball, but being right-handed, that's not going to be the easiest of shots for sure. Some players are good to playing opposite-handed. Some don't mind using the bridge, but it's not really the shot. When somebody makes a mistake like Chris just did, you don't want to come into this. And this is, somebody asked me, in a way, APA allows slop. We're not playing call pocket. And it's such a minor thing. It comes up so rarely, and usually it is a lower skill level player that has a chance to get some excitement and to beat one of the other players that are a little higher skill level. But the better players rarely, you know, make a ball that wasn't called in the pocket.
Right.
It's more often that you miss and then leave somebody nothing. That comes up a lot more and costs a lot more games than somebody actually slapping a ball, and that's pretty rare.
You know, it's interesting too because, and I don't know the roots of why, some places those rules apply, where you have to call your pocket, because it just seems odd that I don't really know of another sport where you're asked to basically state what you're going to do before you do it. I don't know. I don't think football, basketball, baseball. There's no
golf.
There's no.
I'm going to hit that one branch, and then it's going to bounce.
It's for me. Yeah, having grown up playing other sports other than pool, it's kind of a strange thing for me just to.
Well, we don't play call pocket in the pros. Some 8-ball tournaments will have it, not all. But that's all right, and everybody has kind of a different way of looking at it. Straight pull is the only game I know that consistently has where you have to call the pocket. But that's because all 15 balls are constantly alive, so you could just slam into them all the time, and kind of takes away from the game. And while we've been talking, Chris needed to get on the board, and he did there. Took advantage of Elias' bad safety, and here he goes. He's back into it. Race to 7.
Chris will have the break. Elias will prepare the rack. We'll see 2 more games of 8-ball before we move along to the 9-ball set. You're trying to scroll on my computer screen like it's an iPad, aren't you?
Well, my computer you can scroll on.
Really?
It's kind of like,
you got all those fancy tools.
I'm very hip when it comes to all that.
As we mentioned, the Masters play is non-handicapped. Our guess is that most of these players are probably 7s in 8-ball and 9s in 9-ball, but I don't have their skill levels in front of me because they don't apply to this particular format. And as we mentioned, these players are not required to mark their pocket for 8-ball. Very similar to our U.S. Amateur Championship rules. Brandon, we do realize that the Richmond team, now we know, won the event 5 years ago, as did the Three Amigos. It's very interesting that both of these teams have previously won. We've mentioned that a couple of times.
The format works where if you lag the balls, whoever wins the lag gets to choose to either have the very first break, or they can choose if they want to play 8-ball or 9-ball first. So you play 8 9-ball games in a row if that's what you start with, or you play 5 8-ball games in a row. So let's say after this it's
7.
Let's say it's 3-2 after the 8-ball portion is finished. Then you go into 9-ball and continue with 9-ball. So it's up to the person not breaking the very first break to choose if he wants to start out with 8-ball or 9-ball. So both games are played. And the 9-ball game, you still get 1 point for the 9-ball, whoever wins, 1 point for the 8-ball, whoever wins.
Carlos, surely you're not asking me to answer that question. Black Widow or Ava, who would win? I'm not going there.
We've had some good battles.
I'm sure you guys have played numerous times, huh?
The last couple went to me, but we've had my career, my strongest years were coming kind of towards an end and I had my daughter and everything else when Jeanette was coming on. So then I kind of revamped my career. So we've been going back and forth for a lot of years.
Yeah. Of course, Jeanette was out here all week. I think she's heading back to Tampa later today, but she's been out here interacting with the players quite a bit. A lot of folks like to play challenge matches and things with her.
A lot of the pros have been out here.
Yeah. Of course, we mentioned Dr. Q. He's been here. Florian Kohler, the famous internet trick shot sensation, is out here. We saw Skylar and Billy earlier this week. Mike Massey's been here. You said you ran into a couple others. Stefan Palinga
yes.
was here.
Stefano Palinga.
The trick shot guys.
Mike Massey, and obviously Dr. Poole has been out here entertaining. He's the most entertaining
Dr. Q.
fired guy.
Dr. Poole.
Yeah, Dr. Pool.
So there
Dr.
were
Q.
probably I'm guessing there were a handful of others that a lot of the vendors have pros that come out,
All
and
right.
I think I saw Kim. Is it Newsom?
Yeah.
Out of
Kim White
Texas. Kim
Newsom.
White is what
Yeah.
I've always known her as. I know she got married, so one of the WPBA pros. So lots of different. You never know who you're going to run into here at the World Championships.
Allison and Efren were not here.
No, and I
Not
hear
this year.
I heard with Efren, he's cutting back on his play, at least in the United States. He's kind of winding down his career and is gonna stay in the Philippines for the most part.
He's got a large family there, and he's just not as sharp as he was before.
Sure.
Doesn't really need to play as much as he used to. So
It'd be interesting to see if he's at that Hall of Fame dinner.
yeah,
Because
that's
he'd have a long way to go.
50-50 there if
That's
he
a
shows
long
up
way
for
to
now.
go. He and of course Francisco. Is he still over in the Philippines too? Right?
Bustamante, no, he
Yeah.
lives in
Does
Germany.
He does he?
He has lived in Germany for a long time. I don't know if he's still there, but he's lived in Germany for a long time.
Interesting to see which of the Hall of Famers that are living overseas come in for that evening in December. Back to the action at the table where Elias
Made a good shot there to be able to go in and break
Yes,
up
he
the
did.
8. And the 15 ball is close enough to the 2 balls where he can really play where to hit the cue ball. He can draw it in. The best thing is if you draw it into the 8 with some left draw to come out a little bit. You got to be careful here so you don't get stuck on it. You can also go into the stripe or split them 50-50. You just don't want to hit the bottom of the stripe ball here. And if you do, you got to make sure. Oh, that's the shot right there. Good shot. He would have loved for that cue ball to get up, but look where that 7 is blocking. We had a light shining there. I couldn't even see the 7, so he needed that stripe ball to stay on the rail, and now the 7 is blocking the pocket instead. Not a good spot to be in, as it turned out.
We'll make sure we thank our sponsors while we have a moment. Our friends at Aramith. Of course, our partners at Nationwide, Pool Dog, and Action Cues, all folks that come together to help us put on this outstanding event. Should also mention our friends here at the Westgate who have been hosting us for past several days, over a week now here.
Boy, I don't like this at all. I like it probably more than Elias does, but I mean, a 2-rail bank shot, a cross. You can't play the cross rail down here because the 1 ball is in the way. Unless he plays it, really goes kind of crazy here and has the cue ball go in and knock the 1 out of the way. But they're all kind of far-fetched, but I don't really see I mean, there's no safety here with the 7 hanging right there. There's nowhere to go for a safe, so he's going to have to try to make something.
Carlos, there is no sudden death in the final round.
Looks like it's going to try to make both of them here. 7 and 10. No. But a good, there's your safe right there that he saw that I didn't see, but I don't know if it's good enough. I think the 1 ball is definitely makeable if you hit the rail first right before the object ball, because then it came out far enough where he can definitely make this 1. But he was in a tough spot all the way around. All right, challenge is not over for Chris yet. He's going to shoot this combo. He's got to hit that 2 ball really thin on the back side.
Does not make the combination there.
Sudden death is played throughout the event. It's played in all the, usually in most of the
up through the semifinals.
areas.
Yeah, just not the final round.
Yeah. The finals, we just let everybody go ahead and play their game all the way out on a national level.
That's correct, Carlos. We do use sudden death in the semifinals, as well as each of the rounds prior to that, if necessary. This is Elias Valles at the table here for the team of the original Three Amigos. Original all the way to their first title in 2001 here. I believe back then we called it the three-man championship or something like that. I'm not even sure we
Was it?
referred to it. Yeah, we did. We rebranded it after a few years, but
All right, here we go. Commanding lead there. We're going to.
Elias now leading 3-1.
There's one more game of 8-ball, and after that we move into the 9-ball portion of this match.
We know you're excited for the 9-ball. Dave was a fan of the 9-ball.
I do like the 9-ball. Big reason, I mean, we have been playing pros my whole career since I came over, except for the first couple of years it was always straight pool, but since then it's been almost all 9-ball, except for a short stint when we had the IPT event, the International Pool Tour. We played 8-ball on that, but other than that, it's all 9-ball.
That was 8-ball, wasn't it? That was an interesting time if you know your billiard history, the IPT.
The IPT. That was an interesting time.
Yeah.
Some good money, though.
Oh, yeah, well, it lasted,
made
right?
some good money. It's not very often us Hall of Famers, as long as if we just showed up and didn't win a match, we got like $30,000.
That's not bad.
That's not bad, especially in this sport where
Yeah.
we're not that spoiled with that.
That was
kind
just
of
for showing
treatment.
up, huh?
Yeah. All right, let's see.
Elias with the break there.
Again, kind of a few clusters here. I would think that Chris is going to be looking at the solids.
If you're just joining us, this is coverage of the final round of the APA Masters Championship here at the Westgate Resort and Casino, Las Vegas. All part of the APA World Championships.
Everybody votes on the APA T-shirts for that contest. The APA does not. It's open to vote now that it's so easily to be done. You can do it on. You can vote on Facebook or.
Yeah, it was always tough to judge that contest. We had kind of a group of people that would look at all the designs and decide which was our favorite, and we decided, why don't we let the folks decide? Popular vote decide. So moved all that online. I think people can vote for the next several days. Get all the information about that at our website, poolplayers.com.
All right. Starts out with a safety. Not sure.
Our champion, one of our members of the championship team from last year, Ramin Bakhtiari, predicting this will be the second year in a row a California team wins. So we'll wait and see. But currently, it is the team from Richmond leading 1-0. This is Chris Bruner at the table.
Good hit. Elias can go ahead and make the 12-ball here and break up the cluster. Just pay attention with the cue ball so you don't get stuck behind the 8-ball here. Did he get a shot? Not sure that they moved out in the way enough. Looking at the combo, he's got possibly the 9 in the side. Oh, he's got the 13 in the side. I think it goes by the 10 there. Still some work to do here 10-2 or 10-4. No, 10-2 are tied up.
Michael Adams, you want to take the Nationals back to St. Louis, huh? A couple things about that. One, call it the Worlds now, if you would. But
where?
As much as, yeah, well, yeah, I don't know where we would hold it in St. Louis at this point. And as much as some of our staff who is out of St. Louis might like to stay home and run the tournament, I think you'd have quite a few disappointed folks across the globe. I don't know if the Japanese team wants to come all the way to St. Louis. Vegas just seems a little bit cooler. So we're going to keep it in Vegas, and we're going to keep it here at the Westgate for the foreseeable future. This has been a great home for us since we moved over from the Riviera 2 years ago.
That's a question. Corey Hall, you're asking, during regular season we count games. Why not the same in Vegas? Well, not all league operators around the country do play where you still count the games. Oh, boy. When you're talking about, like you know, instead of point system, you actually go by the games, to where if somebody wins 7-2 and the next one wins 7-3, then one team's ahead by 1 point. We do that locally in our area, but from what I understand, I could be corrected here, but I believe that the national office ended up with so many teams, more league operators, got more slots, that it ended up having to add a whole other day, because the point system usually runs into 3 matches, where it just added a lot of time. So way back it used to be the same it is now, and then they changed to the point system, but now gone back to this again for Las Vegas, because it did add a lot of time, and it had more expense for the players to come out here and all that. So
right, for the Masters, for the Masters,
just for the Masters,
we do still for
right.
Team 9 ball. It is still points per ball. For Team 8 ball, we use the 3-point scoring system. So, and
it's not just the expense for the players, but it is the expense for the whole event. Like, now do we have to cut down on something else, like the 8 ball or the 9 ball? And there's only so many big locations in Las Vegas that can handle this, and
right,
and constantly juggling with that and getting extra tables. And I think you guys would be shot if you did away with the Mini Mania or took away tables in there, because that's always
packed, I don't know that
so
we can do away with Mini Mania. We would have some very angry folks.
Yeah, so it's kind of a give and take.
Yeah, of course.
There's reason behind it.
We'll be adding a new event next year. We talked a little bit about this on the broadcast the other day, but next year we will have our first team captain championship here. That'll also be a combination of 8 ball and 9 ball. You'll have to be a team captain to be eligible, and
that's kind of a cool shout out to me, to the team captains that do the work all week to kind of keep
absolutely
track of the crazies.
That's the point of it. A lot of our league operators run team captain tournaments locally, and we are now taking that and expanding on it here in Las Vegas. So that should be something very exciting for the players. Of course, fall session about to get started in most areas around the country, or just getting started. So if you're interested in potentially playing in that event or any of the events out here, I'd encourage you to contact your local league operator, get involved.
Ouch. It's close, but no cigar, no shot here. Not an easy shot to play rail first. He may go and try to jump it. You just got to be careful. This is a tough shot to jump, because odds are, unless you hit it right on the head, you're going to fly off the table with a cue ball whenever the object ball is that close to the rail and you're hitting a thin cut. He's looking maybe to kick it in. Can go rail first. I think there's too much of the 7 where I don't think he can curve around it unless he goes rail first. And here we go. Last game of the 8 ball portion. It's going to go to one of these players right here, I would think. Nice try.
Just missed the 13. I'm going to bring Chris back to the table. Chris trailing 3-1. Pockets the 7 in the corner.
And this is a big game, too, for Chris. If he can win this, not only obviously getting to stopping Elias from running away with this and getting ahead 4-1, but also by getting 3-2 and having the break once the 9-ball portion starts.
Right.
Where he could run 2-3 racks and take over the lead.
Pockets the 2 in the corner.
Let's got to slow down a little bit. There is a Scotch doubles 9-ball, Johnny. We do have Scotch doubles 9-ball. It may not be a league in your area. I suggest that to your league operator. Nice shot. But there is, we have that, the 9-ball Scotch doubles and 8-ball Scotch doubles championship is in April here in Vegas.
So Chris Bruner wins the final game in the 8-ball set. Still trails by 1 game as they move to 9-ball. The set score still currently 1-0 in favor of the team of Now We Know from Richmond, Virginia. Elias Valles of the original Three Amigos, who's leading in the second match, is doing his best to even up that score, though. Conversation at the table here. I'm not exactly sure what the conversation is about. I see our floor manager and our tournament director having a discussion. See if we can't get clarification on what the discussion's about.
The only thing I can think of it is that it has to do with the score. No. They may be discussing racking.
Maybe they're okay. So that may have been an agreement to have the referee rack.
Well, here's the deal too, because if the referee starts at any time, if both players agree we would like the referee to rack, he will continue racking the entire match. You can't say we want your rack for a few racks or maybe for the 8-ball and then not. And if they did that, you got to remember that it's more sensitive. The rack is more sensitive when it comes to 9-ball, because if the 9-ball, if it's off a little bit, and the back 3 balls, the 9-ball can go flying into the corner pocket. If it's a bit of a, dud rack, you don't freeze the top 3 balls, it can be negative for the breaker. So I know both players, I don't think they realize that once you ask the referee to rack, he has to rack the entire match. And I'm sure they would both like to rack their own balls here in the 9-ball because it has such a large impact on the break.
Another impressive crowd here for one of our finals matches. All week we've had quite a few spectators come in, take in the finals. David Hunt. David the dentist, huh? David Hunt, the winner of your first match. Came by to hand me his business card. Looks like he's a dentist.
Oh, cool.
David the dentist?
I need to talk to you.
All right. Good to know.
And I know 42 other people that like to talk to you.
I have this reoccurring nightmare that something like devastating happens to my teeth when I'm in Vegas for one of these trips. And like I look really awkward and I don't want to be seen. So it's good to know that if that actually ever comes to fruition, there's David to fix me up. Chris Bruner at the table here. First 9-ball rack.
Good shot. I'm not sure why he hit that so firm, but I think he wanted to make sure he made that ball. And anytime that you can hit the ball with more authority, it makes it an easier shot on those kind of cuts. But it's a little far, and that's not a bad safety at all right there, right behind the 8. Well done. Not much to gain here by curving around it, even though he could easily hit that with a curve. I have a feeling he's going to kick at this. Jump bank is possible. 7-9 looks like it's tied up a little bit, but it does look like it's a makeable combo if you get on the opposite side. Oh, nice try. Nice try, but. Such a big part of the game, the defensive part. You know, a lot of people don't like to play defensive. It's like they're playing chicken or something, and, you know, it's not crazy about it, but the safety game is just so huge. I mean, when you can sort of kind of toy around with somebody like Elias with his abilities by keeping him kicking. Now, if you go for a crazy shot and you miss, he's going to run out on you.
Right.
More than likely. Same thing with Chris. But if you control the table and you play smart, you don't like what you see, then you're going to have to play smart. Now we're going to see if Chris is going to go down and break these open or if he's going to play the combo. Oh, nice shot. Absolutely perfect.
Nice job there. Nice round of applause from the audience here. Appreciating the skill. Chris picking up the pace now.
Chance to tie this up.
No problem there. Pockets the 9 in the corner, and we are now deadlocked at 3. Chris looked very comfortable in that rack.
Well, the beauty about 9-ball, once you get through, you know, and you have an open table, whether it's solving it by playing a safety or whatever it is, but once it's open, you can really start running around the table and getting that tempo up. Same thing, obviously, in 8-ball once they open up, but usually there's balls in the way on a 7-foot table that kind of makes it harder for you to just get pumped up and run balls. Main reason not to use the magic rack is that the 9-ball rack is actually imperfect, Jim. It's one of those interesting things where the 9-ball is, I mean, the corner ball is essentially designed to go in the corner pocket. If you have a perfectly racked rack, the 9-ball sticks in the center. It shouldn't move hardly at all, and the corner ball goes. And that takes a lot of the skill out of it and a lot of slower breaks. You can just kind of hit a firm stop shot. We had problems with that on the Pro Tour for a while. It makes it quicker, and it's kind of fun to be able to make the ball, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you need a lot of talent and a good break in order to make a ball on the break.
That's some interesting insight there, Ava.
I am very interesting, Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's why and on a pro level, 10-ball started becoming more popular because there's no automatic of that corner ball going in the same way. So.
All right, Chris Bruner again with the break. Pockets the 3 in the corner.
If that 2 gets out of the way, it should have a shot. Oh boy, a little bit too far. Crazy thin backwards cut on the 1 here, but the good thing is the 2 is wide open in the center of the table, and he can actually play a safety and hide it behind here. Now just got to find his line and the speed to get the cue ball down. Oh, he's going behind the 4. Too hard, too hard. No, wow. Perfect. Nice shot. Nice shot, Chris. Yeah, Carlos, 9-ball magic rack, 9-ball on the spot we thought was a good idea too, but that kind of makes the 1-ball dead in the side, believe it or not. So that kind of killed that. We did that for a while until all the pros started realizing how easy it was to make the 1-ball on the side. So everything's got benefits and drawbacks.
Somebody asking about the Sardo rack. Remember the Sardo
racks?
Oh, yeah. It's been a few years.
Yeah. Well, that's the same answer that I had. That, you know, we moved the 9-ball on the spot, but it didn't really work either.
Years and years ago, we had Sardo racks on all the tables here at the championships. That's got to be at least 12, maybe 15 years ago, but you don't see those racks too often anymore.
The Sardo rack?
Yeah,
no.
I couldn't tell you last time I saw one.
The problem with the Sardo rack, you still kind of had to pound the balls into the table a little bit.
I remember you had to set like a divot in the slate, right, to get it,
So that kind of ended up like the magic rack. The problem is after you broke the balls a number of times, the groove got a little bit bigger, and then all of a sudden the balls wouldn't stay there when you bang the balls into the cloth. All right, back to the game. Beautiful tempo that Chris has right now. He's playing smart. He's shooting the safeties when he needs to shoot them. And as I say that, he lets the cue ball go and got way too straight on this. He'll have to shoot a tougher shot on the 8. The nice part is he can just roll this up. Even if he goes into the 8, it's fine. If not, he can get the 8 in the side.
And Chris Bruner, folks, has now pulled ahead in this second match in the Masters Championship. Now leads 4 games to 3. The original Three Amigos, of course, desperately needing this second match to extend it to a 3rd set. Chris Bruner, however, of the team Now We Know, would just as soon finish it here. That would mean a championship for he and his teammates.
From Virginia, huh?
Richmond, Virginia.
Richmond.
They play out of Diamond Billiards in Richmond. Like many of these teams, these guys all met playing in league. Again, the referee now preparing the racks at the agreement of the players. I give a shout out to all of our referees in this year's event. Of course, our referees consist of our league players who are generally a little higher skilled, very knowledgeable about the game. And man, they come out and work hard. One of I believe the toughest jobs here at the tournament, being a referee, and the pressure that goes with that, the hours that they're asked to work, and they're all very dedicated APA members, and we appreciate their contributions to helping us run a smooth tournament.
We have a pretty packed house right now. I just looked
yeah.
up. We have the lights right in our faces, so it's kind of hard to see, but I just looked up in the room, and I don't think there are too many seats available, if any, and standing room right at the opening there. So I would say between 250 and 300 people in here right now. That's fun to see. Everybody appreciates a great game of pool, and here at the APA, and it doesn't get any better than the Masters.
Again, the referee's still trying to get that rack right. That's got to be kind of high pressure. You got this whole room of people watching you, and you're trying to get that rack just perfect for the players, because you don't want to sway things one way or another. You talk about pressure.
When I was 17 or 18, I had just moved here, and I was out in Reno at a tournament that Richie Florence had years ago. And they asked if I would be the rack girl. So I came out and that was the rack girl. And I was a really good player at the time even, but I was so nervous. My hands were I could not get the rack right. You know, you got him.
Sure.
Ephraim playing, well, he wasn't playing that, but you got Buddy Hall playing Steve Miserak, and you don't want that 9-ball to go right in the corner. So.
Again, if you're just tuning in, this is live coverage of the APA Masters Championship, part of the APA World Pool Championships, which began last Thursday here in Las Vegas. We are now 8 days in, 9 days. I lost count, Ava, somewhere in there, right?
Yeah, 14, 26.
Yeah. All right. Everybody's content with the rack. Chris with the break. Pockets the 1 on the side, the 8 in the side, the 7 in the side.
Well, he hit those with some power, and he is sick because that 6-ball is in the way. You can see he can't make it. He's going to have to shoot a combo here. or continue with his path of the safeties. He could just roll this and almost play a dead straight on, play the 3-ball, 1 cushion down towards the bottom, follow the cue ball and try to freeze it on that 6. That's just a decision thing there. And this is what usually happens in a game of 9-ball. If you are a good safety player or come with a big shot, is you have one time where you really think about it. Take your time, figure it out, and then be ready to run around the table when you've solved it. There's your safe. And if he freezes it, oh, you hit that. I mean, you cannot hit that ball any better than that. He has blocked pretty much all paths. And he has controlled this match since it turned into 9-ball. Very little that Elias could have done here at any point to take over control. But I have a feeling with Elias's power, if he ever does, if he comes with a 2-rail kick here and makes this 3-ball, this could turn around where Chris won't see the table for a few racks. Okay, here we go. 2-rail kick. It's a makeable, a tough shot, but it's a makeable shot. So you're going right toward the pocket. And how did he hit it?
Wow. Unbelievable.
You gotta love it. His reward is a 4-9 combo, too. He deserved that. Fantastic shot.
The audience approves.
They loved this. It's a great match.
Wow. What a turn of events there for Elias. Very impressive. We are once again deadlocked, now at 4. Nice show of sportsmanship there, too. I notice Chris Bruner offering a nice fist pump there to Elias.
Yeah, I loved it. Of course.
He certainly doesn't want to lose that game, but he appreciates the skill it took for Elias to do what he did. So, again, there's been a lot of great sportsmanship that I've noticed throughout the event, different times, and, again, another example of it there.
Well, if you can't give it up to your opponent when they come with that shot after he played such a great safety, then shame on you.
Right.
Well, hi, honey. Mitch Lawrence is watching.
Mitch Lawrence?
He is. He liked that shot a lot, Elias, just so you know.
All right. Much easier rack that time, too. So we are back in business, and Elias will have the break.
He's breaking for more straight on. We'll see if he can start out by me. You see the corner ball going there, and what's going to happen with this 1 ball? He's got a shot at it. Pretty sure he does. He doesn't look too thrilled, but I'm pretty sure he's got a shot at that 1. It's thin cut in the side. A little bit of a backwards cut, but I think the cue ball is far enough over to give him the angle to be able to make it. Can't make it in the corner, I don't think. That's going to be close.
This match got underway right about 1 o'clock, so we are now 2+ hours in.
Elias doesn't like the shot on the 1 ball here, so he's looking to push out. That is allowed in Masters play only in the APA. He's pushed out. Not a bad spot there. Obviously, the 1 ball isn't makeable in the corner because of the 5. That backwards cut is crazy, and you're letting the cue ball go, so I'm sure that Chris is going to play a safety from here.
Ava, real quick for our viewers that aren't maybe familiar with the push shot, just explain briefly how that works.
Well, the push out is one opportunity after the break to take a little bit of the luck out of the result after the break. and you can go ahead, oh, almost. You can go ahead and improve your situation a little bit where you really hated the shot, and you can make it a little bit easier, but you got to make sure not to make it so easy that because your opponent has the opportunity to give the shot back to you.
Right, to defer. So Chris took the shot there, but he could have given it back to Elias to have had him shoot. So he opted to take the shot.
And it's a very strategic shot, and I mean there's a lot of knowledge you have to have there to not make it too easy. Like I said, it's kind of a fine line. Usually most players will push out to a place if they can where you're forced to play a safety and not too easy of a safe. We're going to see here if he's going to go ahead and try to cut this in here or go for the bank on the 9. I would think he's going to cut it. It's not that tough of a cut. And go 2 rails across the table and come out for the 2. No, he went for the bank.
Glenn, you're correct that typically we do not allow push shots in APA play. That is an exception, though, in Masters play. It is allowed. Push shots are allowed. Jump cues also allowed. Again, that is in the Masters format only.
Well, Elias went for the bank there, and he got away with it a little bit. Cue ball obviously went to the other side of the table, but didn't leave much of a shot for Chris. You can see there that he's actually checking out the 9 ball himself. That tells me he can see a full ball of the 1, but not enough to make it, to cut it. So he might be able to do kind of a 2-way shot here. Bank it in there and try to get the 1 ball to go to the other side of the table. No, he's going to play safe. Oh, not what he wanted to do. You saw there he got a double kiss on the 1. Hit a little bit too full. The cue ball didn't have time to get out of the way. So
you can see he's not happy with that outcome.
Well, if he's not happy now, he's not going to be happy after Elias gets done with the shot. I'll tell you that. There you go. Time to get creative, Chris. Going to try a reverse kick here into the rail with a ton of spin on the cue ball to come backwards.
Wow.
He made the contact. Is he going to get a little bit of love for it? He did.
Very impressive.
Good shot, Chris.
Again, much delight amongst the audience seeing that shot. Again,
that's where I wish we had replay, because the way that hit and then that reverse, it just kind of
Well, don't tell Steve that, because he's going to try to figure that out. Steve Alejandro, the man behind the scenes running all this, is.
Nobody likes a challenge like Steve does.
He's been doing a great job. Now the 4th of 5 championships we've brought you live here. Still the 8-ball World Championships to come tomorrow at 3 p.m. Be sure to come back and join us. Of course, that's 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. for those of you East Coasters.
Looks to me, can't quite see it there, but I think he's going to need to come with a 1-rail kick here. If he goes 2 cushions, it's going to would probably hit the 1, and then the cue ball will hit the 7 and kind of leave it down there. But by going 1 cushion, he might be able to get a safe out of it. He's trying to measure there, but that 1 is going to get stuck there by the 3, and the cue ball's probably going to stay there too. It's kind of hard to separate them. That's the one thing you want to do when you're kicking at it, is to separate him. He's going to see if he can put a ton of left spin on the cue ball here, hit cushion, and then have it go over. I would have somebody watch this for me, but Elias is not asking for anybody. Good shot. And oh, almost. Still a great shot and a good result.
think that's in response to another Jason asking a question. Ava is making funny faces at me, reading comments directed towards Jason,
I just
rotating
looked
your
down
phone.
and it said, "Turn your phone,
I believe
Jason,
that to
to
be
sideways."
a viewer Jason, not a commentator Jason. There are more than one Jason out there.
I thought you did something wrong again.
Nah,
Okay.
not this time. Well, I probably did, but I don't think the audience or the viewers know.
I don't know. I think they do. All right, here we go. Nice. Once it's slowed down right behind that 5.
Quite the safety battle we have here, folks.
You know, it's a beauty to watch somebody power run a rack or 2 or 3, but when you're watching good safety play, to me, that's even prettier.
I think we're now up to like 4 or 5 Jasons all tuning in.
All right. 1 or 2 rail kick here. I don't know if he can get deep enough for a 2 rail, but 2 rail would be nice. They can hit it stick. Go all the way down deep and get a full hit on that 1 ball. Cue ball can stay. 1 ball goes to the other side of the table.
We're up to 5 Jasons. We got enough for a team. What do you guys think? Jasons unite.
I'm a Jason.
Okay, we are officially slap happy.
We got to have something to do while we let Chris leave him alone and figure out what he's going to do here. Looks like 1 rail. Oh, not quite. He had a tough way to get down there. All right, let's see what Elias can do.
What did we start, Jasons?
Fine, I'll be a Jason too.
There we go.
Can I play?
We could use you for sure. Bring you in as a ringer Jason.
Okay, good angle here to be able to make the 2, draw it. Cross table, maybe a little bit too far. I don't know if he can follow it to get on this 3. 7 is in the way, so obviously straight in would have been great there, but he should be fine.
I like the way you think, Jessica Lee. She said we'd name the team of Jasons Friday the 13th.
Look out. Ooh. It's all right. Well, Allison and Jeanette and myself, we just don't play as much as we used to. You're true. You're right, Michael. Allison still plays in some of the tournaments overseas. But, and we don't have as many tournaments, period, as we used to. And ESPN kind of changed their contract with us, where it's more difficult to get on the national television. And it's all sports. It's not just us. It's poker. It's everything. They have changed everything. And I guess they got too big to where they had the opportunity they could ask for more, and they're getting it from a lot of other sports
Sure.
that have more money than we do. So
They have all the negotiating power.
and they use every bit of it.
Yeah. Of course, the 3 you mentioned too, Ava, Jeanette, Allison, all now members of the Hall of Fame and kind of, you know, still playing competitively, but
trying to
also
call us
focusing
old?
on. No, but
Are you
you
calling
guys
us
have,
old?
You guys, your career interests are different than they were some years ago.
I think we're
did I
done
navigate
here.
that well?
I think we're done here. Good luck
So,
finishing this, trying to figure out what's going
of
on,
course,
Jason.
both Jeanette and Ava, league operators, APA league operators now.
All right, nice shot. He needs this to get over, way over.
That's where I was going, was the
yuck.
franchise
Yeah,
plug, not the...
We're done. We're
Okay.
done here.
Back to the action.
Yeah, real funny, Byron. I hope you're laughing. All right, this is not where he wanted to be, needless to say. He's right on the 50-yard line with this 5 ball. And getting position on the 7 is not easy. If you play it in the left corner, the cue ball is going to, and even if you draw it, it's going to head into the rail and then back over towards the left instead of the right where the 7 is. And if you make it in this bottom right pocket, cue ball is going to head into the 8, and then you never know what's going to happen there. Thank you, Robert and John. We think so too. Safety. No, he went for it.
Could not quite get
this
the
could
5.
be bad. Nope.
The cue ball holds up just in front of that side pocket.
Unfortunately for Chris, the cue ball landed right in the pocket, so he could hit low to be able to come over here for the 7. No, look at what he just did. It's amazing how easy that cue ball can be made in the side pockets compared to the ball.
Yeah.
It's like it had eyes.
Yeah. And you can see by his reaction, he realizes that it quite possibly may mean his last turn at the table this particular game. We'll see.
Yeah, and again, when it's this close to being over in a race to 7, it's 4-4. The fact that it's winner breaks.
Yeah, could be his last time at the for the entire match, for sure.
And he started out so strong, and he hasn't played a bad match by any means. I mean, it's just that
mistakes,
Elias also has gotten back at the table. Oh, wow. I think he forgot to draw his ball. They're entertaining the room here. It is full in here. It's great.
You can see down the hallway a lot of folks are congregating, looking at the big screens above the tables.
Thin cut here, built in position. 3 rails around. That's nice.
Elias makes it look easy. Just has the 9 ball here.
And this is the finals, and this has Elias up by 1, 5-4 in the second match.
Elias will now have the break as he pulls back ahead by 1 game. This is a race to 7. Again, if you're just joining us, this is live coverage of the APA Masters Championship, the final round here in Las Vegas. These players competing for $10,000 in first place prize money. You're seeing some of the spectators who have gathered and now realize they're being shown on screen. Maybe we can get the kiss cam going again, Steve. We saw that the other day. Let's.
That worked very well during the 9-ball championships, didn't it?
No kissing going on there. Maybe over here.
Not much there either.
No kissing there. At least give us the wave, folks. Come on. No, not going to happen.
In case you guys just kind of joined us here, just so you know, now we know from Richmond, Virginia, are ahead 1-0 in the actual match. The first match had David Hunt beating Jose Fach Garcia. And if Elias can pull this out, we're going to the third match.
There we go.
Come on, kiss the girl. We need to get kiss cam. No good.
No kiss cam. No. Oh,
thanks,
come on.
bro. I mean, long time we saw you, what, last year? We haven't seen you here this year.
As you survey the crowd, folks, the referee's still preparing the rack, so don't fear. You're not missing any of the action. Brooke's looking for her husband. He's here somewhere. Our racker and referee, Mike Alexandria. Is that correct?
I believe so,
Shout out to Mike. Kind of a high-pressure deal when you're the referee for a Masters final. There probably is no more high-pressure refereeing situation, I wouldn't think, than being in that position during the Masters final. You can see surveying the rack, comfortable with it. Elias now with the break. Currently leading 5-4, but his team is trailing 1-0. So
And both of these guys are real gentlemen too, that they're not like breathing down his neck,
Sure.
checking if the balls are frozen. I understand if you hit one rack and the balls aren't acting right, then you can start checking and making sure that it's, but as long as the referee does his job, why go over there? And you know, so far the balls have been breaking up. Great for both players. To me, that sometimes that comes across a little petty, like, you know, just leave him alone, let him rack them. All right, great break by Elias there. And this is a run-out opportunity for sure. And they could put Elias on the hill if he can stick with good cue ball control. The first shot is the biggest. He's got more of an angle in the 3 than he would like to have. You can see the 4 on the right side there. If he can tap it in, he'd be very happy. If not, he's going to have to go down the table and back up again. All right, he's in good shape. Built in position for the 5 here once he makes the 4. And Chris knows that something's going to have to happen for him to get back to the table in this rack.
Some folks joining us from Canada. Feel free to chime in and let us know where you're tuning in from.
Oh, boy, Elias. Well, no different from the pros. You know, you can be a great player and make that 99 out of 100 times. But we can all miss shots at any given time. And the pressure is on top of it.
Folks from Phoenix, Idaho, Poplar Bluff, Missouri. Pensacola, Florida.
Chris is trying to take a good hard look here at the 5 ball in the side. Nice position here if he can make it. He's gonna. No. 2 unexpected misses there in a row. And we'll see what Elias is going to do. That 9 ball might be makeable. It might be too thick of a hit. He's looking at the combo. I don't know about the combo here. But if he makes the 5, the problem with it is I think he's going to get too thick of a hit on the 9 and not be able to get back off table for the 6. He's going to try to draw the cue ball off the 9 ball. Nice shot. How about them apples?
Some folks tuning in from Newfoundland, British Columbia. A lot of Canadians tuning in. Appreciate that.
You know, a lot of players out here from Canada.
I've seen some Arkansas, Alabama, Texas.
One of our teams from Coastal Carolina, APA, played when I was watching. They played a team from Canada. Really sweet people. They really had fun.
Yeah.
2 teams, yeah, great people.
We have seen our fair share of pool this week, have we not, Ava?
Oh boy. And I had planned on doing certain things this trip because I always come out here and I never leave the casino.
Yeah.
And this time I said I am. But my teams ended up playing, when I wasn't commentating, my teams ended up playing 1 and then the other started. One started at 9, the next one at 1, and I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off a little bit here. So
It's yeah, it's rare to find time that we find our way out of the hotel property.
yeah,
Elias pockets the 8 in the side pocket.
nice
Leaves
and
himself
smooth.
nicely on the 9. Chance to move to the hill if he can pocket this ball. Elias Valles now on the hill. Needs just 1 game to secure this 2nd match and to force a decisive 3rd match. Leading 6-4 over Chris Bruner. What do you think, folks? You rooting for this 3rd match? You want it to go 3 deep?
I think everybody except for the players on Now We Know do, don't you?
Well, that and the fans of Now We Know.
True. True, true.
Hello from Bulgaria. That's impressive. Folks in Bulgaria. I figured as much. I'm right there with you, sister.
All right. Here we
Ava and I
go.
have a secret conversation going on here.
I just don't want to get in the punch drunk thing, so just be quiet for a while. All right, here we go.
Elias with the break.
Who needs this rack to take game 2 and tie it up? Big break. Perfect cue ball going straight back.
Pocketed
Joining the 1 ball down here.
7 ball there.
And the 1 is just enough to where it's makeable, I believe. Just barely.
There's another question about if you sing. What is up with people wanting you to sing?
If you hear my voice, do I sound like a singer? Maybe, I do Janis Joplin real well.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Top of my lungs. That's about it.
Speaking of singers, we have had an amazing singer, a local Las Vegas singer named Lisa Smith that came in and started the tournament several days ago with the opening ceremony singing the national anthems, and it is just amazing when she does that. I saw that the Vegas Golden Knights, the hockey team that is going to be out here, is doing auditions. I was going to tell her she needs to go out and definitely audition for that because she is outstanding. She really gets these players ramped up and ready,
beautiful.
and it's pretty impressive to see.
And it kind of reminds you of what kind of an event it is. It's really, I love it.
Folks from Italy tuning in. Someone from Greece. Quite the international contingent. Durango, Mexico. New Zealand. All tuning in to watch live coverage of the final round of this year's APA Masters Championship here in Las Vegas, where we have from Richmond, Virginia, the team of Now We Know, and from San Bernardino, California, the team of the original Three Amigos, currently represented by Elias Valles at the table, leading 6-4. Needs just one more game here to force a decisive third match.
And this is all there's going to be into this rack. I mean, a perfect angle here for the 5. You just drift straight across the table, leave yourself an angle for the 6, and then you can come straight down for the 8 ball.
Producers handing me a note. Claude from France is tuning in. Tony from Israel. John from Holland. We got a dozen different countries tuning in.
That's pretty cool, and that's again the great thing about the
Sport,
social and the social media too. Not only do people play it from all around the world, but it's pretty great that we can reach everybody that wants to watch. So
I know Kevin Hinkebine, our franchise development director, always having conversations with folks around the globe about bringing APA to their country. I know we had a gentleman here yesterday from France. Elias pockets the 8 in the corner. Leaves himself good position on the 9. And folks, we are going to a third and final match here at the Masters Championship as Elias Valles wins this second match for his team, the original Three Amigos. We're now tied 1-1. In the finale, we will see team captain Frank Almanza of the Three Amigos, and we'll see who the team of Now We Know opts to put up here. We're going to take a quick break, folks, in between racks, and we'll be back in just a couple moments. Come from all walks of life.
Different backgrounds.
Different abilities.
We all have different reasons for doing what we do.
But we're all one.
One love.
One passion. One big family.
We are.
We are
American Pool Players.
American Pool Players.
American Pool Players.
And this is our league.
Tired of the same old, same old? Looking for a night out with your friends? Let me introduce you to the game of pool. I'm Jeanette Lee, the Black Widow, and playing in an APA pool league is both exciting and fun. Whether you've ever picked up a cue stick or not, you can enjoy the sport I love. In the APA, everyone can play and anyone can win. So grab some friends and form a team in the world's largest amateur pool league. Have fun, meet people, play pool.
All right, folks, we are back after a momentary break. We've got Frank Almanza of the original Three Amigos. And it looks like we have Larry Kressel. Lawrence goes by Larry, as I'm told. And they will be opting to start once again in the 8-ball set here. I believe they are waiting for their referee to return. You see the referee there. Frank, check out the rack, grab some chalk.
I did see Larry play the end of his semifinal match to win it into the finals, and really played strong, solid. But from what I am told, and you can tell, I have a feeling Larry has some power, obviously, also, and a lot of knowledge. I think Larry's been playing for a few years. And again, just in case you guys were not here at the beginning, now we know won this event 5 years ago. And the original Three Amigos, back when they were just the Three Amigos, they won this in 2001 and either in 2003 or 4 as well, and have regrouped and come back and try to do it again. So that's pretty cool.
Hats are not allowed in the finals, especially Cubs hats, if that's what he was wearing.
Ooh. My hobby, I play golf. I like golf. And then doing stuff around the house, but as far as games goes, I like golf a lot. Play a lot with my husband, travel around, and kind of similar hand-eye coordination stuff, so very similar sports in a lot of ways. Larry's got a fairly open table here. 10 ball down in the bottom right corner. Going to create a little trouble. If he can get to it now, spin it backwards. He did get to it. I think there's a lot of power here. He played last in the semis, like I said, also. So I think there's, you can see the stroke on here and the confidence he's playing with, coming out quick.
Larry is the team captain of the Now We Know team from Richmond. Frank Almanza, currently seated, is the team captain for the original Three Amigos. Captains are going to square off to decide which of these teams is taking home the Masters Championship. Matt, this format is both 8-ball and 9-ball. They will play 5 games of 8-ball and up to 8 games of 9-ball, depending on how the score is, but they do play both disciplines here.
Larry's going to make a decision here, but it looks like he with no problem can draw this cue ball back and play the 8-ball on the side. He could obviously come with 2 cushions too, with a little bit of left, and play the 8 in the corner. Kind of a preference. Or third one, just slam it into the rail and come back out for the 8 in the corner. Thought about it for a second, decided what to do, and this was probably the best thing. I think on a 9-foot table, you probably would have wanted to draw it back down for the 8, but on a 7-foot table, that long shot is not as long. So good finish by him.
On the board first for his team. Jordan, any predictions for the U.S. Moscone Cup team? Well, I'm guessing you're going to see Shane. That's probably not in doubt. I haven't looked at the recent standings, but of course Skylar Woodward's probably a good bet as well.
Brian Park's on here, and hi Brian. It's kind of rare not to see you.
Brian's watching, not playing, huh?
Toward the end, yeah. I think most people who have been out here to Vegas or have watched or followed the APA and the live stream know by now who Brian Parks is.
Brian, of course, I believe now 4-time U.S. Amateur Champion, won again this past year. Pulled ahead of Henry Brote after Henry claimed his 3rd.
A lot of noise, but nothing went.
And that'll give us our first look at Frank Almanza. I understand they call him Frank the Barber. I've heard
Frank the Barber.
Yeah.
You
I'm
know,
assuming
every
because
good
he
pool
makes
player
good
has a
cuts.
nickname.
Is
Yeah,
that?
maybe.
Or maybe he's actually a barber. I don't know.
Well, we had. It's one of those teams, you know. We had David the dentist, and now we got
Frank the Barber.
Frank the Barber.
Frank taking a long look at the table here to figure out solids versus stripes, low balls versus high balls.
Well, the main thing you got to do is look for. Obviously, you identify the trouble balls first, since this is not the kind of a run-out rack, and then you try to figure out what balls are in a good spot for me to break out, which balls. So that you need to really take your time here to look and decide what you want to use to open the table up.
Dexter said Frank was a barber, so there you go.
There you go. I kind of like the way you were thinking, though, about the cuts.
Well, I was thinking cuts,
was
right?
kinda
Doesn't that
cool.
make
Yeah,
sense?
no.
Yeah, because he makes
I'm
really
sorry
good
I ignored
cuts.
you there, because
Yeah.
that was kind of a good cut. Yeah.
Okay, well, good. I know I could say something interesting every couple of hours.
Every once in a while. All right, table is still open. Nobody has made anything yet.
A lot of Frank fans on here, too.
The table is open. You're allowed to use the other series of balls for a combination. You can see the 8 ball there is kind of tucked in with all the solids. So the 15 ball is a ball to get to, but it's kind of open. You know, you could run this rack. Not obviously a different angle with it, that you can run this rack and not bump into anything. Except everything is makeable, actually. I think 15 ball may be the only one. Oh, that's makeable down in the corners, you could see. Be great to get that out of the way now. Oh, boy. Nope. I'm just going to bring Larry back up again.
Larry Kressel returns to the table. Larry, a member of the team now, we know. Again, this is the second game of 8 ball. They will play 5 games total before they move to the 9 ball set. Somebody tuning in from Alaska. We're getting closer to all 50 states. Now I need somebody from Hawaii.
Uh-oh.
I like what you had to say there, Antonio. APA members do come from all walks of life. Says he knows lawyers, cops, firemen. Says his wife is an assistant principal. That's really one of the cool things. You do find just all kinds of different folks here.
No question.
A game of pool bringing them all together here in Las Vegas, as well as in their local league areas.
All right, got a little bit fortunate there. Looked like for a second he was going to be snookered or frozen up and against that ball, but now it's wide open again, and now it's cue ball controlled, and but more than anything, it's a pattern. Find the pattern you want to play. The 1 ball is he can make the 1 ball here, come across and make the 2 in the side if he wants. All right, he's got the 4, so the 5 ball can pass in the side down here, and that would open up the 8 ball as well. Oh, good shot. Now, this rack, I would think, sits firmly on Larry's side. I would be surprised if he doesn't get out here. He's just solved this beautifully.
Neil, you asked about, can anyone enter these events? These events are open to APA members. So if you're interested in participating in the Masters Championship or any of our other events that culminate here in Las Vegas, your first step would be to get in touch with your local APA league operator and find out what different formats they offer there in your local area. And you may find yourself out here playing in Masters or one of our doubles events or the 8-ball or 9-ball World Championships. Lots of opportunities for play. Of course, we mentioned the new team captain tournament that will take place next year at this event.
There is no shot clock out here, Tom, for the finals.
Right, not for the finals.
We're letting everybody, the pressure is usually strong enough out here for these players that are out here, so there is no shot clock, and we also do not do any sudden death for any of the other formats out here either, so let the players play. Oh, my
ball
goodness.
just hangs there on the lip of the pocket.
Wow. I thought he was, I would actually have bet some money that he was going to be out there, but you never know. That 5-ball is sitting so deep that I think that Frank's going to go ahead and make both of them just like that. And as you can see, that cue ball control, if that would have hung up there, he would have no shot. He would have left no shot for Larry on the 1-ball anyway, so kind of a two-way shot there.
Antonio, that is correct. Next year, the World Championships will also include a team captain tournament. Those details just recently released to the APA league operators. I'm sure they will be sharing those details in the days and weeks ahead once we get through this event. That another way for us to reward and recognize our team captains and how vital they are to the success of our leagues.
That could end up even worse than it did. That 1-ball rolls another 1/4 of an inch or comes in at a different angle, he would have all of a sudden tied up the 9-ball, but the 9-ball is still makeable, so.
Yes, I believe the team captains tournament will be only eligible for team captains. So, if it's something you're interested in, time to think about starting a new team.
I was talking to some of the other league operators. We do have some windows when you start, but most people I talk to, their league is starting this week, next week, or the following week. So
Right.
it's all
Still a little time to make some adjustments. It's always really challenging for the league operators, I know, with the fall session because so many of them come out here and help us run this event just as they're trying to get their fall sessions up and running. So appreciate all their hard work and all their help. Couldn't obviously do this without them.
all right. Safe by the barber here. He didn't particularly care for the situation he had, so he's just going to duck. You know, normally you look for if a ball will go off another ball into a pocket. And he's trying to see if he makes contact with that 1, is it going to go in the side? The problem is where he's coming from, the direction he's shooting from. The other opportunity is, can he jump over the 8, make the 1 cushion? They're all far-fetched, but he's looking at every possibility right now. So he's in a bad spot here. As you can see, he is completely snookered behind the 8. He's got to, it's off to the side a little bit, so he could jump this, I would think, but it's a long jump between, long distance between the cue ball and the 8, so I would think he's going to kick at it.
And I don't think, we've not seen a jump shot yet, have we, in the first 2 matches?
No, and the table is slick because it's brand new cloth.
Mm-hmm.
and it's not play down. So instead of grabbing right away when you jump it, it slides a little bit first, so it's harder to get it up. You don't want to try to jump too much with this cue ball and with this cloth the way it is right now. That could be it. And a lot of them have been playing good safeties too, where you couldn't really do it. Tell you what, that's not, well, it's not good either. That 14 is obviously right there. Did the best he could there.
That'll bring Frank back to the table. Looks like he'll go cross table. Pockets the 14.
Yeah, our events. Oh, look at that. He's
Yeah.
snookered himself too. Wow. Yeah, it's not going to be a captain, co-captain. This is just captains only, the tournament that the APA is introducing 2018. We run a captain, co-captain tournament locally in Coastal Carolina APA as well, where I'm at, and that's a really fun tournament. We send teams out here, but this is a captain-only tournament that's going to be here in the future.
And that's because of just volume. I mean, you can only have so many. I think the initial projection was 384 teams. So it'll be captains only. So again, talk to your league operator. Still time to potentially qualify for that event.
See if Frank can kick this in. Oh, he's going to just trying to kick and play safe. That's got to go. That has to go. That's no good.
And that
No
won't hit a
rail after.
rail, which means it is ball in hand. Yeah. So he made contact with it, but you have to drive a ball to the rail after contact, or it is ball in hand. Good opportunity here for Larry Kressel. Pockets the 1 ball, leaves himself. Appears to be good position on the 8. It is. Pockets the 8 ball, and he now has a 2-0 lead in this race to 7.
Well, he had the right idea with the defensive shot there. Just he had to hit it softly, but just too soft. I think he meant to hit less of the object ball and therefore have the cue ball go a little more speed to get into the rail. But as it turns out, Larry has control of this so far. 3 more games of 8 ball are going to be played before we go into the 9 ball portion.
Larry with the break here.
Powerful break right there. Made did he make 1 of each? He actually made 2 stripes and a solid. And you got 2 clusters, 2 solids and 2 stripes are clustered together. So either way he goes, he's going to have to do some work and break something up. He has a great opportunity with 6 being where it is. You can make that 6 ball and just go right into the 2 and open them up there. So another opportunity here, real good opportunity to round this rack. You make the 6 now, which is a tougher shot, or you can make the 3, make sure you leave an angle to make the 5 and then go into the 7 and 2. The reason I like the other way is that you bring it away from trouble. Your odds are getting a better shot. Getting a shot afterwards are better when you break them up. So we're going to see now what happens after he goes into them here.
Pockets that 3 in the corner. Pockets the 5.
Oh, I guess I've been looking at the wrong thing. I thought he had to break those open. He can make that 7 the way he played that. That just made it even a better run out, easier run out if he can make the 7.
Does make the 7.
7, 6, 2, 8. And Larry would real good hold in at least the first half of this match.
No problem with the 6. Make a slight adjustment there to his attire. Get comfortable to stretch across the table.
And yeah, he wanted to make sure that he did not move the 8-ball.
Right.
Obviously, if he does, then it gets moved back where it was, but you're never sure that maybe gets a bit tougher shot, so you might as well not touch it and mess with it. That way he knows what he's playing position for, and Larry's on fire.
Impressive run there. Now leading 3-0. With 2 games of 8-ball remaining. Kathy, Chris Bruner did not win that second match. That second match was won by Elias Vaez of the original Three Amigos, which is what has forced the third and decisive match here. We had in the first match David Hunt with a victory for the team of Now We Know. We just mentioned Elias in that second match, winning it for the Three Amigos. We're tied 1-1. This third and final match will decide the championship. Currently, the team of Now We Know leading 3-0 behind Larry Kressel.
A lot of noise, but failed to make anything on the break. And right off the bat here, the stripes look great. Good opening shot. Nothing is tied up. 8-ball is out in the open.
Antonio says Larry's been playing anchor all week, so see if he can anchor this third match for his team. This is Frank Almanza at the table now.
I would think Frank's going to play the 14 in the side, or whatever that is. It's kind of hard to see. What, 12-ball maybe? Put the stripe in the side and then just stop the cue ball right there on the 6. And shoot the 11 next. There you go. And anytime you have the opportunity, is anytime you can shoot the balls in clusters. So you want to work one side of the table, one half or one quadrant of the table at a time. You control the cue ball so much better that way, and kind of not. The last thing you want to do is move the cue ball too much back and forth, and that could cause you to accidentally run into balls, and that's not what you want to do, because that can mess up a good situation, a good run like this that Frank has right now.
After we wrap up the World Championships this week, of course, we'll turn our attention to the fall, which is the U.S. Amateur Championship preliminaries in September, and I know shortly thereafter we'll have the regional qualifiers for our Pool Player Championships. A lot of exciting things on the horizon for APA in the fall. If you haven't gotten on a team yet, would encourage you to reach out to your APA league operator. Still time to get going in the fall session.
And he has played this. This is what I love about playing with more of the seasoned players. You know, when you watch a young gun, it's exciting because they fire balls up everywhere. They bank balls in. They powerful breaks and everything else.
They don't waste much time in shot
selection. But when you see one of these guys here, you know, that have been around for a while, and you see them solve the patterns correctly, right. It's a thing of beauty.
And you saw it right here from Frank. Very nice. So Frank counters Larry's run with one of his own after Larry was unable to pocket a ball on the break. Frank will now have the break here in the final game of the 8-ball set. Larry still leading 3 games to now 1 for Frank. Again, this is a race to 7, playing 5 games of 8-ball. This is the 5th and final game coming up. We'll then begin the 9-ball format, where we could see as many as 8 games of 9-ball.
Frank the barber and David the dentist.
We got a barber and a dentist. I'm not sure the occupations of the others. Maybe some folks at home can enlighten us as to what Larry's occupation is.
Or contrary to the first match here, and I believe the second as well, these players have chosen to rack their own balls as opposed to have the referee rack. And again, if you choose to have the referee rack, then he racks the entire rest of the match.
Larry the chef, huh? Is that accurate?
Well, another good break, but I don't believe he made anything either. So here comes Larry.
Some interesting occupational comments. I'm not going to go there, Graham. Now this one might be legitimate. Larry might be the manager at Diamond Billiards. That's where they do play out of, so. Or he's the chef at Diamond Billiards. Sounds like maybe he does it all at Diamond Billiards.
There's a lot of
and
that
then some
going
other
on.
things on the side based on our witty commenters. Those of you tuning in.
All right, solids it is. A little bit far there. Not too bad. He's got a shot at the 2 in the side. 6-ball is open, obviously. It looks to me that the only ball he's got to be concerned with here is breaking up the 3-ball. Nudging it a little bit to get it out of there. Everything else is wide open.
Aha, here we go. Larry is the location manager at Diamond Billiards, and I know we can believe that because Marguerite Ruger and Don Buchanan, his league operator, let us know.
Oh, good. Hi, Marguerite and Don.
Our league operators there in Richmond, tuning in, watching their team play here in the Masters Finals.
I'll be up in Virginia doing an exhibition here next weekend.
Oh, yeah?
North of Richmond, and I've been sitting here trying to remember where I'm going, and it's kind of been a whirlwind lately, and I just cannot remember where I'm going. Hopefully I'll figure it out by this weekend, next weekend.
Yeah, you're going to need to know at some point, I would think, to get there, but everything's a little blurry while we're in Vegas. You got to...
Maybe somebody knows that can tell me on here.
Who knows where
Somebody
Ava's
lives
doing an exhibition
north
in
of
North
Richmond.
Richmond next week?
It's in Virginia, I know that.
Is that for a pool room? Or
It's actually in a billiard room,
Okay.
yes. And they've got... I met him, the owner at the regionals, actually.
Is it in Newport News?
Yes, I think that might be it.
That's what James Hopper believes it is. I'm not real clear on my Virginia geography, so.
Okay, little thing cut on the 8-ball here, and this should do it for Larry. Good
Very
shot.
impressive. Larry now leading 4 games to 1.
And
Now
we got
move to the
9-ball coming.
9-ball time, folks. With some really impressive runs these last 3 games by each of these players. kind of like a heavyweight bout where they're trading blows.
And close matches, fun matches. It's
Yeah.
really been a great, all three of them actually.
Newport News is east of Richmond. Very exciting finale here. Larry asking for a slight adjustment to the rack.
Yeah, a little bit of movement could have happened there too between in the top balls. And it's getting down to the nitty-gritty in the 8-ball next door, huh?
It is. We are just past the 4 o'clock hour here. I'm guessing there's a 6 o'clock round that probably features 8 teams, and then we'll be down to 4 going into tomorrow. Is that right?
No, I would think there's 2 more rounds today.
2
No?
more?
6? Yeah, maybe.
Well,
sure
you
what
know,
time they
Ava, we
started.
could refer to the CompuSport app to know for sure.
I think you should. My phone's died,
Oh.
so I have nothing.
You're trying to keep up with everybody's comments. Let's see here if they show me in the program guide.
You're welcome, Tom. Uh-oh. Oh, just ran into the 7 enough. And here Larry keeps going. I was watching him play 9-ball in the semifinals. By the time I got here and walked into the room, the Three Amigos were already finished with their match and their win, but I ended up watching Larry play 9-ball a little bit at the end, and he can play some 9-ball.
Impressed, huh?
Yeah. And being up 4-1, Larry would Frank would really have to take control of the match and get in somehow, and then not let Larry see air and just pinch and squeeze, play safeties, not make any unforced errors.
Frank doesn't look real stressed over there, does he? He looks very calm and relaxed, and he's just going to sit back and wait for his turn.
He's just hanging out.
I'm guessing he's played a few tournaments like this.
Yeah.
He knows anything can happen. He's just going to sit back and let things unfold.
And that's the best thing you can do, because there's nothing you can do. This is not the kind of sport where you can, beat somebody from the chair. So, I mean, what are you going to do? You just might as well sit there and be as relaxed as you can. So when it's your turn at the table, then...
That's got to be frustrating, though, to some degree. I mean,
you
to
have
know
no
that,
idea.
that you can't do
You
anything.
have no
You're just
idea.
kind of sitting and...
Especially when you've made a major error.
Yeah.
You have all that time to sit there. And when your opponent then takes their time, the longer you have to sit there, it's hard to let go of.
Right.
It's easy to say, but really difficult to
And
do.
so few mistakes. I mean, we essentially saw the break, and then you had I believe the break and run from Larry, and then Frank came in and...
Yeah, Frank missed one shot there. That hurt.
Larry didn't have anything on the break. Frank ran out. So there hasn't been a lot of mistakes, not a lot of opportunity. It's just when it comes to the Masters format, that's what you can see is just got to make the most of your opportunity at the table, because you may not get another. Larry very quickly making short work of this 9-ball rack. Pockets the 9-ball. Now with a commanding 5-1 lead.
And again, the quality of players here. Very possible that Larry can run 2 racks and out here for the 3rd and final win and take the championship. I mean, it's a race to 7. He won the first 4.
Larry's going to take another look at the rack. Likes what he sees. Grabs the cue ball. Prepares to break. Here we go.
Yeah, 8-ball
Gets the
goes on
8
the
to
break,
drop.
and does he get a shot at the 1? He does. Just enough to see the 1. And I do believe he has the correct angle to be able to force the cue ball into the 2 and break them open.
Antonio said Larry might as well be a bus driver. He's taking his opponents to school. Ah, you guys are so witty.
Aren't they witty? Witty's a good
That one's
word.
from Antonio Sladen.
Okay, let me see
I like
here.
that one, Antonio. I'm going to save that for later.
And he, oh, perfect, perfect, perfect. Got a little straighter than he wanted. He was going to have to take a bit of a tougher shot here on the 3. It looks like if he draws back out towards the 4, he can, oh, he can follow it. Oh, no problem.
Again, Larry's leading 5 games to 1 here in this 3rd match. The team scores tied 1-1. This is the 3rd and final match. The winner here will bring home a championship for his team.
And you can see there a stop shot, a slight draw. And he'll have the 4. He can make it come up for the 5 ball. The 5 does go past the 9. Just don't want to draw too far, needless to say, just a little bit. And the only key shot left then, I mean, he really needs to get up high enough here on the 5. Oh, just barely. His cue ball control right now is just great. And this is what I was saying. Once they play a rack on this table, I mean, you need to be able to adjust. A good player can adjust to the speed.
Right.
You know, I always say that too. If I'm teaching or if I'm talking to my players at home, you have 2 options. You can whine about the table being too fast or too slow. That was just carelessness. Yeah.
Ouch.
He shouldn't even have come in on that angle. He should have played it shorter than that. Been drawing it a little bit more deeper in, and he shouldn't. That's not even the angle he should have come in on, and he knows it.
Well.
Just as I say, every time you say something, you know,
Sure.
you can
They
either
prove you
complain
wrong.
or you
Yeah.
can.
That'll bring Frank back to the
Adjust.
table with golden opportunity here. Larry was 2 balls away from being on the hill, and suddenly Frank is going to draw this, or draw within 3 after he pockets the 9, which he does. Now 5 games to 2. Still in favor of Larry. Frank will have the break, however.
Yes, Joe, it isn't very much an amateur league, and because Larry played in a few pro events years ago, that does not necessarily deem him a professional.
No. I mean, really, when we're talking about, especially a men's pro event, what, $500 entry gets you there?
500 gets you in.
So I
There's
can go
a
in
few,
there tomorrow,
there's a few,
right? I mean,
yeah, there's a few events that are by invitation only, but the majority of them, anybody can have.
Just got to pay that entry fee,
Yeah.
and you're there. So we certainly don't base someone's amateur status on that. It would be
Good break, but nothing went. Let's see if this 1 ball where it's lined up here, you may be able to force it over. Yeah, I think he can. Keep the cue ball right there for the 2.
Nice
Yeah.
shot there by Larry. Be interesting to see how he responds here. I know, disappointed on how that last rack played out. A little bit of a mistake on his part. We'll see if he can get back on track here.
He doesn't look too bothered.
No,
to
he
me.
doesn't look scared. He doesn't look scared. I don't think either one of them looks scared.
No, he's strutting a little bit now. He's
Yeah.
feeling good. He's up 5-2, feeling really confident. And he's playing great. I mean, I think he's made, what, 1, maybe 2 mistakes that I
Yeah.
can recall.
Neil, push shots are allowed in the Masters format.
All right, got too far here. We'll see what his draw stroke is today. He might be able to cheat the pocket just enough to play with some high left. But it's not where he wanted to be. All right, that'll work. cheated the pocket just enough to be able to pound it and come into the rail and back out again. Good controlled shot.
Pockets the 5 in the corner. If you're joining us late, you are seeing final round coverage of the APA Masters Championship here in Las Vegas. This is the third and final match of that Masters final. Larry Kressel at the table now, leading 5-2. Pockets the 6 in the corner.
And Three Amigos are just that. There's 3 guys playing in that team. But on the other team, we have Michael Buchanan, who did not play in this particular match. So all he can sit back and do is go, yay, Larry.
Yeah.
And take home the trophy and the cash. And he hasn't had to work, at least not in this match. I have a feeling he has played previously.
Somewhere along the line. Michael actually goes by Shane, just FYI.
Oh, does he? Okay.
Yeah, they're throwing us off, you know. A lot of players.
My players do that all the time. It drives me crazy. Well, oh, nice shot. Beautiful stroke. Really dug deep there, drew it into the rail and back out. And Larry looks so confident right now. And he is going to get on the hill right here.
Pockets the 9 ball. And as Ava said, Larry Kressel now on the hill, needing just one more game to take that Masters Championship along with his teammates from Now We Know back to Richmond, Virginia.
The reason why the overhead is a little bit fish-eyed, we have that problem with the pros as well sometimes, and part of the problem, even when ESPN does it, part of the problem is it is in the light, in the APA light that we have hanging over the table. And if we raise that any more, then the light on the table wouldn't be very great. You can see it right there.
Yeah, you can see it's higher than your normal light.
It's as high as it can be and still give a good lighting on the table, but because of that, then you're going to get a little bit of the fisheye there. But I don't think it's bad at all.
Yeah. All right, back to the table in the break. Larry Kressel here. Pockets the 2 ball. And nearly pocketed the 1 on the side as well. But what do you think of that spread?
There you go. There you go. I hope Frank is still comfortable because I don't think he's going to be getting up here. If that 1 ball goes by the 3, which I believe it does, this could be curtains here.
I like what you're seeing here, huh?
I like it.
No challenges?
I don't like it as much as Larry does, but I like it.
There goes the 3 in the corner.
As long as he gave himself an angle, he did. He can just play this nice and smooth. 2 cushions, a little bit of right spin. There you go. Come out. He wants to, his cue ball speed control right now is near flawless.
Shane played in the first round, according to Megan Buchanan.
All right.
So
I knew I'm sure
Shane, a contributor to the team for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Right now, it's all Larry Kressel at the table, folks. He has taken over this match. Now 4 balls away from another Masters Championship.
This is the last thing that could go wrong right here to get the barber back at the table, but it is not going to happen. Like I said, Larry has adjusted instead of wind, and he has adjusted, and his cue ball control is perfect.
Folks getting on board the Kressel train here. Now needing just 2 balls, make that one more 9 balls. Slow it down.
That was adrenaline and excitement, I think. He got a little excited there. He goes, oh my God, we're going to win it again. 5 years ago, they won. Let's see if Larry can bring them another title right here. Yeah,
there it is, folks.
No doubt.
Larry Kressel pockets the 9 ball. And your 2017 Masters champions are from Richmond, Virginia. The team of Now You Know. Congratulations to Larry and his teammates Chris Bruner, David Hunt, and Shane Buchanan. They are this year's Masters champions. They are now $10,000 richer. And I'm guessing, Ava, they're going to be doing some celebrating tonight here in Las Vegas.
I have a feeling they will, yeah. I think
right.
we all will.
Yeah.
And then we got 8-ball tomorrow.
8-ball tomorrow, folks. So we've got one more big match or one more championship to be decided. That will happen tomorrow, 3 p.m. Pacific time. Come back, join us one more time. Until then, we're going to go hand out some trophies, some prize money, maybe have a little fun.
We can do that, too.
Until then, folks, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
And folks, the 2017 Masters champions from Richmond, Virginia, the team of Now We Know. How do
Congratulations, guys.
Oh, they are?
Folks, we'd also like to recognize our Sportsmanship Award winners in this year's Masters Championship. How about a nice round of applause for a team all the way from Japan, the team of Z. Annie, how about a nice round of applause for our Sportsmanship Award winners in the Masters Championship.